I could be replaced. Nah, I come from outer space and I'm a classy girl. I'ma hold it up. You full of something, but it ain't love. And what we got is straight overdue. Go find somebody new. You can buy me diamond earrings and na 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 na. But I smell her on your collar, so bye 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 bye. I know you're lying, 'cause your lips are moving. Tell me, do you think I'm dumb? I might be young, but I ain't stupid. Talking round in circles with your tongue. I give you bass, you give me sweet talk, saying I'm your number one. But I know you're lying, 'cause your lips are moving. Baby, don't you know I'm done? If your lips are moving, if your lips are moving, if your lips are moving, then you're lying, 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 baby. If your lips are moving, if your lips are moving, if your lips are moving, then you're lying, lying, lying. Hey, baby, don't you bring them tears, 'cause it's too late, babe. Oh, you only love me when you're here. You're so two-faced, babe. Oh, you can buy me diamond earrings and na 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 na. Yes, you can, but I smell her on your collar, so bye 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 bye. I know you're lying, 'cause your lips are moving. Tell me, do you think I'm done?
You ready?
Of course I'm not ready. I don't want to do this.
Any final words, Millicent?
No! Now she should not use a straw.
Yeah, we're trying to avoid using straw because
If you aren't ready and ride this out, we'll let you know.
The Center for Disease Control in Washington, D.C. has issued a viral outbreak warning. State and local officials have reported cases of high fever, nausea, death, and even cannibalism. Stay in place until further notice.
What the heck? Did you?
What? I was just driving like a slug to get to the house.
Hold on, Mom's calling. Hey, did you just get that emergency alert? Yes?
You need to get home right now. I got notice in the emergency broadcast system. There's some sort of a weird virus outbreak that this is not test.
Okay, I'm pulling the driveway right now.
We're not the U.S. Marines. Why can't we just start going now?
Okay, there's Barry. He's got the Jeep. Don't move.
What? Examples? What is zombies? Police are coming or something and
Yeah, it's literally all over the news.
trying to put a garden hoe isn't what we want. We have guns. Why are you putting garden equipment
Alright, I'll go get the gun.
in the car?
You're gonna need to defend yourself. I can't be with you the whole time, okay? Look, this is how you use it. Safety's right here. Pull this. Try. I need you to see you do it, okay? You gotta hold it up if anything comes. Hold the weapon. Hold it up. No, hold it up. Hold it up, okay? You got it? Okay, I'll be right back.
What is this supposed to do for me? Give me a knife! How am I supposed to defend myself?
Listen, we can only take one pet. Which pet? The cat or the dog?
The cat! You idiot!
Okay.
No!
What do we do with the dog?
He's the worst! He's already dying! Just leave him!
Okay,
Get the cat!
Okay, I got the cat.
Please.
Mom said we're leaving the dog.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, Dad said that since he's in Las Vegas, that he's close to Mexico and he wants us to meet him in Mexico. How good is your Spanish still from high school?
I can say pants.
Millicent, we can only take Funfetti or chocolate cake. Which one do we take? Funfetti? Do you want Funfetti or chocolate?
Why would we die?
Which? No, Millicent, this is important. This will be what we're living off of. Which one? Funfetti, chocolate.
Do you think Costco, should we go to Costco first?
No, it's gonna be a bloodbath in there.
She's probably right. She's probably right. Millicent, what about Mexico?
Why do I have to be on this side?
Millicent, what if...
Millicent, you know where we're gonna go? We're gonna go back home and you're gonna get in bed, and you're gonna sleep for the next couple hours, because there's no zombie apocalypse. Alright, we're gonna go let you get in bed.
Listen, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
We love you,
We
though.
love you. I'm gonna turn
A
this
lot.
off.
The only thing I'm thinking about, I really gotta hold on, hold on. I really gotta hold on, hold on. I really gotta hold on.
What's up, New York FFA? That's the best greeting I've gotten so far. Thank you for that. Did you guys enjoy that video? How many of you have seen that? Okay, so a decent amount. I think it has like 25 million views now, so I'm not surprised. But, so speaking of kind of a pretty embarrassing things, obviously that girl's probably embarrassed by that video, but she's also went on Ellen, so I think like it's worth it. Maybe I should do that too once I get my wisdom teeth removed. But either way, so I want to obviously start it off by doing something embarrassing. So an embarrassing but fun activity. How many of you guys remember the lip sync from last year? All right, a decent amount, but we're going to do it again, all right? And we're going to make sure that it's as embarrassing this time as it was last time. But obviously, with embarrassment comes rewards. So is it okay if I can have 3 volunteers from the audience? I need 3 people. All right, Noah, I got you. They're coming up. Right in the green. Yep, with the green hanging down. That's you. I'm considering. All right, yeah, I got you. You're going crazy. All right, we got our 3 contestants. If you guys can make your way up onto main stage, please. Let's give them a round of applause. All right, perfect. So I have my 3, and I'm just going to hand off the mic to you guys, and each of you guys are going to introduce yourself and what chapter you're from, okay?
Hi, I'm Allison Graham from the Albion chapter.
I'm Noah Dorchester, and I'm from the Carthage FFA.
My name's Kevin Brown. I'm from VBS.
All right, perfect. So we have our 3 contestants, and I'm just going to let you in on a secret. When picking a song for people to lip sync to, I'm not going to lie, it's pretty hard because you have to pick a song that most of the time people know the words to. And since just recently Justin Bieber's finally had his resurgence in the music industry, I'm obviously going to pick him. So after I hand off a mic and not a mic, just a marker. So is anyone really willing to pretend here? Kevin, are you really willing to pretend? Perfect. Kevin's pretending. All right. So I'm going to hand off my 2 mics. And Kevin, you're going to get this marker. I apologize, bud. Perfect. Happy you got it. And then, so when I say 3, 2, 1, and obviously I'm going to be yelling without the mic, the song's going to come on, and you 3 are going to have to go as crazy as possible, lip syncing, and whoever is the best is obviously going to get a reward, but all of you will. I'm hoping that you guys can kind of afford to make fools of yourself a little bit, because let's be real, who doesn't want to do that, and who doesn't want to lip sync? All right? I think you look pretty excited. All right, I'm going to hand this off to you.
Is it on? I don't want it to, like...
It's okay. It's going to get turned off.
Okay, good. All right. I'm so good.
You gotta go and get angry at all of my honesty. You know I try, but I don't do too well with apologies. I hope I don't run out of time, cause someone call a referee. Cause I just need one more shot, have forgiveness. I know you know that I made those mistakes maybe once or twice. And by once or twice I mean maybe a couple of 100 times. So let me redeem on myself tonight. Cause I just need one more shot, second chances. Yeah. Is it too late now to say sorry? Cause I'm missing more than just your body. Oh, is it too late now to say sorry? Yeah, I know take every single piece of the blame if you want me to. But you know that there is no innocent one in this game for two. But I go, and then you go out and spill the truth. Can we both say the words and forget this? Yeah. Is it too late now to say sorry? 'Cause I'm missing more than just your body. Oh, is it too late now to say sorry? Yeah, I know that I let you down. Is it too late to say I'm sorry now? I'm not just trying to get you back on me. 'Cause I'm missing more than just your body. Oh, is it too late now to say sorry? Yeah, I know that I let you down. Is it too late to say I'm sorry now? I'm sorry. Yeah. Sorry. Sorry. Yeah, I know that I let you down. Is it too late to say I'm sorry now? I'm sorry. Yeah. Sorry. Sorry. Yeah, I know that I let you down. Is it too late to say I'm sorry now?
Stay on stage. I'll take that. There it is. I'll take it. All right, hey, let's give it up one more time for our contestants. Guys, stay on stage. Stay on stage. All right, obviously we have our lip sync battle, but we're going to have a winner, and that winner is going to be determined by the amount of noise that you guys make. All right, for each of these candidates. I think all three of them did wonderful. I'm proud of the crowd participation they got. A little bit disappointed in some of their actions, honestly. There's a line, we'll draw it. We figured it out, though. It's okay. But other than that, you guys did pretty wonderful. So, all right, I'm going to go by contestant, and crowd noise is going to determine this. All right, Kevin's doing pretty well. How about for Noah? All right, Allison, you're going to have to get some big applause for this. All right, how about Allison? All right. Kevin, I love you, bud, but we got our final two right here, all right? Crowd, one more time. You're going to have to make your decision. First, Noah. Hey, Kevin, you're staying here, bud. Allison. All right, I'm going to have to give it to Noah, but let's give it up one more time for all three of our contestants. They all did phenomenal. All right, you guys come on over here. You can pick out your shirts. Noah, pick out a string bag as well. Yes. Kevin, do you want a shirt? Kevin, you want a shirt? Do you want a shirt, Kevin? Yep, I like it. All right, you can pick from in there. Kevin would just like to thank the audience one more time. He's giving a shout out to his loyal fans. So.
I got them shaking their booties like congos, man. I'm shaking the city like quakes. The haters blue in the face like Gonzo, cause I'm breaking the cake, so let's bake. I'm taking the game's mine. Y'all witness the change, it's my time. Yeah, I'm new to the game, but y'all might wanna say you whack raps, they like say the time. I can dance, homie, I don't two-step. Y'all looking at something like a true player. A girl told me that a man that can dance might could possibly get down with the tool in his pants. Now I'm a ladies, let me see it vibrate. And when it's over, you ain't gon' need your bird. Cause I'm a pro, make you bend your back low, then the pound it real fast, just like the percolate.
Wobble baby, wobble baby, wobble baby, wobble. 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 Get it now, yeah yeah. Get it now, yeah yeah. Get it now, yeah yeah. Get it now, yeah yeah.
Hey big girl, make her back it up. Make her back it up. Hey big girl, make her back it up. Make her back it up. Hey big girl, make her back it up. Make her back it up. Hey big girl, make her back it up. Make her back it up. Back it up. Girl wobble it, and I'ma gobble it. I say you're moving your head, go ahead, bobble it. We can cradle the bed, I'm straight racking it. The girl say, man, like they cover rocket shit. Damn, I'm so explicit, but I can't help it, my flow ridiculous. Boy got a gift like it gotta be Christmas. Swag on this like it gotta be gifted. The girls brought cameras, and they want pictures, and they gon' frame them. See that? Let them to the bed while I'm saying my scriptures. Cause I leave you holy like you pray in the temple. One beat, I move with the letter of a pencil. And mine won't miss you, good night kiss you. Take your damn back, cause you got a pistol. And I don't think Donnie pick her up these issues.
Wobble baby, wobble baby, wobble baby, wobble. 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 Get it now, yeah yeah. Get it now, yeah yeah. Get it now, yeah yeah. Get it now, yeah yeah.
Hey big girl, make her back it up. Make her back it up. Hey big girl, make her back it up. Make her back it up. Hey big girl, make her back it up. Make her back it up. Hey big girl, make her back it up. Make her back it up.
All the shorties in the club, let me see your chest. Back it up, drop it down, let me see your chest. Get low, scrub the ground, let me see your chest. Push it up, let me see your chest. Wobble, wobble, shake, shake it, chest, get in here. Wobble, wobble, chest, push it, get in here. Show me what you got, show me what you got, get in here. Show me what you got, show me what you got, get in
Hey
here.
big girl, make her back it up. Make her back it up. Hey big girl, make her back it up. Make her back it up. Hey big girl, make her back it up. Make her back it up. Hey big girl, make her back it up. Make her back it up.
Wait a minute now, wait a minute now, wait a minute now, wait a minute now.
Wobble baby, wobble baby, wobble baby, wobble. 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 Get it now, yeah yeah. Get it now, yeah yeah. Get it now, yeah yeah. Get it now, yeah yeah.
Hey big girl, make her back it up. Make her back it up. Hey big girl, make her back it up. Make her back it up. Hey big girl, make her back it up. Make her back it up. Hey big girl, make her back it up. Make her back it up. Back it up. Back it up. Back it up.
If it hadn't been for Cotton Eye Joe, I'd been married a long time ago. Where did you come from? Where did you go? Where did you come from, Cotton Eye Joe?
Thank you to everyone who just danced. I didn't expect that song to be that long, honestly. I'm dying of sweat now. But...
Where did you go?
Oh.
Where did you come from, Cotton Eye Joe?
Woo! I'm gonna catch my breath. Hold on a sec. Check. Okay, great. If you are Kathy Pratt, by the way, this is an announcement. If you are Kathy Pratt, you have reserved seating, and please come to this side of the auditorium. Again, if you are Kathy Pratt, you have reserved seating, please come to this side of the auditorium. Continue.
Drag me down.
All right, guys, I'm going to teach you my favorite cheer from my home state of Wyoming. So, it goes a little something like this. New York FFA, how do you feel? We feel good. Oh, we feel so good. You think you can do it?
Let's do it. Well, I think we should practice again.
All right. New York FFA, how do you feel? We feel good. Oh, we feel so good. Okay, is there like 6 of you out there? Because that's how many I heard. I think we'll be louder if we stand up.
You gotta tell them to get the leg lift thing. Okay, maybe not with the ropes.
It's all right. I was just thinking like my leg won't lift. All right. On the count of 3. New York FFA, how do you feel? We feel good. Oh, we feel so good. All right, guys, all right. I think you can do better. One more time. One more time. All right, we're going to have a little contest. From this side over, you're going to be group 1. From here over, you're going to be group 2. All right? Group 1. How do you feel? We feel good. Oh, we feel so good. Oh. That was pretty good. All right, group 2, how do you feel? We feel good. Oh, we feel so good.
New York FFA, I am displeased with you. These state officers have traveled from far and wide, from Nevada and Wyoming, well, I mean, Massachusetts, Connecticut. I think we should play some of the word games that we love here in New York. Does anyone know? What is it, the Red Robin? Red Robin. All right. Oh, I love that. Okay, so Wyoming has...
All right, so it's just like that. It's a callback, except you say random sounds of the barnyard, and then you have to make whatever your favorite farm animal sound is. There's a lot of mooing. sounds of the barnyard.
All right. I could not tell what was in that barnyard. So we're going to have all the cows go first. Random sounds of the barnyard. Wow, we got a whole herd out there. Random sounds of the barnyard. Chicken. Wow, that's pretty eerie, actually. Random sounds of the barnyard. Pig. Turkey? Yeah. Count on Joe? Sweet.
Grab that from you, and it's going to signify that we should be starting.
Actually, yeah, straight up. The problem is that I don't have any
like Taco Bell, like a repeat after me, or
Oh,
I said a boom, chicka boom.
I love that one too.
Where did you come from, Cotton Joe? Long time ago, where did you come from? Where did you go? Where did you come from, Cotton Eye Joe? If it hadn't been for Cotton Eye Joe, I'd been married a long time ago. Where did you come from? Where did you go? Where did you come from, Cotton Eye Joe? Where did you come from? Where did you go? Where did you come from, Cotton Eye Joe?
No worries, that'll be played next session. All right, file off the stage, be careful. Nobody jump off the stage. Please take the stairs. All right. Perfect. How you guys feel? That ain't bad. I think these will make you feel a little bit better. I want to hear some noise. Hold on. I don't know. I'm not hearing it. I'm not hearing loud enough right now. We gotta be ecstatic for this session. 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 Hey, can I take one? All right, I'm looking. I think we got a few more. Hold that one up. Hold that one up. I want to hear some noise for these last few. That's a little bit better. We probably got one or two left. Hold them up. Who wants them? Last one. All right. Hey, let's make a little bit more noise for our officers. We're about to get this thing started. Let's have people on the sides getting ready to welcome them in. All right, let's get this session started. Thank you, guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the singing of your national anthem by Savannah Van Gelder from the Granville FFA chapter.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land
Ladies and gentlemen, get on your feet for your 2015-2016 New York State FFA officers!
The meeting hall will come to order. We are now holding the fourth general session of the 91st New York FFA Convention. Mr. Vice President, are all officers at their stations?
I shall call the roll of officers, determine if they are at their stations, and report back to you, Mr. President. The Sentinel.
Station by the door.
Your duties there.
Through this door pass many friends of the FFA. It is my duty to see that the door is open to our friends at all times and that they are welcome. I care for the meeting room and paraphernalia. I strive to keep the room comfortable and assist the President in maintaining order.
The reporter.
The reporter is stationed by the flag.
Why by the flag?
As the flag covers the United States of America, so I strive to inform the people in order that every man, woman, and child may know that the FFA is a national organization that reaches from the state of Alaska to Puerto Rico and from the state of Maine to Hawaii.
The Treasurer.
Stationed at the Emblem of Washington.
Your duties there.
I keep records of receipts and disbursements, just as Washington kept his farm accounts, carefully and accurately. I encourage thrift among the members and strive to build up our financial standings through savings and investments. George Washington was better able to serve his country because he was financially independent.
The Secretary.
Stationed by the ear of corn.
Your duties there.
I keep an accurate record of all meetings and correspond with other secretaries wherever corn is grown and future farmers meet.
The Advisor.
Here by the owl.
Why stationed by the owl?
The owl is a time-honored emblem of knowledge and wisdom. Being older than the rest of you, I'm asked to advise you from time to time as the need arises. I hope that my advice will always be based on true knowledge and ripened with wisdom. Mr. Vice President, why are you stationed by the plow?
The plow is a symbol of labor and tillage of the soil. Without labor, neither knowledge nor wisdom can accomplish much. My duties require me to assist at all times in directing the work of our organization. I preside over meetings in the absence of our president, whose place is beneath the rising sun.
Why is the president so stationed?
The rising sun is the token of a new era in our agriculture. If we will follow the leadership of our president, we shall be led out of the darkness of selfishness and into the glorious sunlight of brotherhood and cooperation. Mr. President, all officers are at their stations.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. The Secretary will call the roll of members.
Mr. President, there are a whole lot of people here. More specifically, there are 1,542 members here.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. FFA members, why are we here?
To practice brotherhood, honor agricultural
Opportunities and responsibilities, and develop those qualities of leadership which can affect membership with us. May we accomplish our purposes. I now declare this fourth session of the 91st New York FFA Convention duly opened for the transaction of business or attention to any matters which may properly be presented.
At this time, I will now call Grace Harrigan to the podium.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You may have figured it out by now that it was not this year's state officer team who performed opening ceremonies tonight. We have been privileged to be joined by members from New York State officer teams from several years ago. Although their times as FFA members ended a while ago, they still leave a major imprint on our organization today by setting the foundation for FFA and helping guide us as we move forward with a new generation of agriculturalists. I know we all have such respect for these people and hope that we can leave the same influence on FFA members as they have. Members of the team include President Dick Church, 1959 to 1960, State President. Vice President Wilbur Mall, 1959 to 1960, State Vice President. Secretary David Cipher, 1965 to 1966, District 4 Vice President. Treasurer Don Morey, 1965 to 1966, State Treasurer. Reporter Earl Butch Cartwright, 1965 to 1966, State Reporter. Sentinel Harold Williams, 1965 to 1966, State Sentinel. Let's show our appreciation for these past members who have left behind such a powerful legacy on our state association. A round of applause. Although the chairs for this next session may not have as much wisdom as our special guests, that doesn't mean they are any less passionate. If it wasn't for one having long red hair and the other having short brown hair, you could say they're two peas in a pod. Their love for jamming to country music on long car rides and their admiration of cows is out of this world, even if the cows are fake. Just about any time there's a plastic cow in the vicinity, these two are sure to snap a selfie with it. So without further ado, please welcome your Session 4 chairs, State Vice President Emma Rose Megner and State Sentinel Lindsey Palmer.
I can't believe we're on the actual Hollywood Walk of Fame. We can finally check this off of our bucket list.
It's crazy we're actually here to see all these celebrities who have made such an imprint on the world. They've definitely made legacies out of themselves. Look over here, Ellen DeGeneres. Look, it's Eddie Murphy. Jennifer Aniston put her hands in this exact same spot.
Whoa, Lindsay, look. There's a spot over here for a man named Mr. Richard Campany, and another one for a woman named Miss Kathy Pratt. Those names sound really familiar.
Wait, no wonder why we know those names. They're two FFA advisors and ag teachers who have been serving their communities and students for decades.
Mr. Richard Campany has left his legacy after teaching at Alexandria Bay for over 37 years. Miss Kathy's legacy is intact after teaching at Homer for 26 years.
I think it's about time we add these two celebrities to our own Hollywood Walk of Fame. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me in welcoming these two retiring ag teachers. You're going to have to take your hand, just to kind of push it in. Okay. Awesome. You're going to hold the star, and then Lizzie's going to follow you off stage. Even though these ag teachers are retiring, there are several others in this room who are creating their legacies every day that they teach. Would all the ag teachers please stand to be recognized? Thank you for making an imprint in our lives. Just like our ag teachers, we're creating our legacies every day. In this session, we're going to be recognizing several people who had made a huge imprint on our world. We'll get to hear from our state reporter, Erin Langdale, as she gives her retiring address. And Kyle Sheely will talk to us about how we can make sure our actions define us in a positive way. We'll get to connect with past state officers who have made their imprint on the association over the past 90 years, and we'll officially get to announce the 2016 National Officer Candidate. Let's get ready to celebrate legacy. John Wayne. The man himself created one of the most memorable legacies in my life. I can remember sitting at my grandma's and staring at the collection of movies he starred in. One of my favorites was The Cowboys. This group of young boys wanted to be just like John in every way. They wanted to ride, shoot, and of course have that tough love personality John did. John Wayne was the toughest, scariest, and smartest cowboy of the Wild Wild West. No matter how hard these boys tried, they ended up leaving their own unique legacies. This group of individuals will be leaving their own legacy in New York this year as they are crowned state proficiency winners.
In the landscape management proficiency area, FFA members get to experience planting and maintaining plants and shrubs, landscapes, and outdoor beautification. The 2016 Gold Ranking finalist is Jayla White from Belleville Henderson FFA. Through networking, Jayla landed herself a job maintaining the landscape of a local motel where she developed many skills. After a few years, Jayla is now able to design landscapes, plant, fertilize, prune, and trim. Alongside technical skills, she widened her knowledge of plant species and can understand concepts of landscaping with ease. Congratulations, Jayla!
Raising poultry requires an interest that extends beyond Thanksgiving dinner. Managing the birds for health and safety is a priority, as is maintaining a project that is efficient and rewarding. The 2016 Poultry Production Gold-ranked finalists are Charles Strecka from the Vernon Verona Sherrill FFA and Camille Ledoux from the Beaver River FFA. And the winner of the Poultry Production Proficiency for 2016 is Charles Strecka from the Vernon Verona Sherrill FFA. Charles is the head feeder on his family's small chicken operation and was able to expand the amount of chickens in his operation by constructing his own chicken coop in the family barn. After having a place to care for chickens, Charles then expanded the size of his operation from 25 to 70 chickens over the course of the year, but still believes that his largest accomplishment was creating a place for his starter hens to lay eggs. Keep working to expand your knowledge, and congratulations, Charles!
Baba Black Sheep, have you any wool? Students in sheep production learn the essentials when it comes to efficiently producing and marketing sheep. Whether it's for meat or wool, these students are all in and there's nothing you can do about it. This year's gold ranking finalist is Cassidy Young from the Belleville Henderson FFA. Cassidy and her family renovated their existing barn to better cater to her sheep production. Along with routine maintenance of feeding and herding them in the fields, Cassidy made sure her sheep were not getting sick, spreading disease, or carrying parasites as her flock increased. Cassidy keeps a good focus on her sheep's diets and wants to keep her flock happy, healthy, and covered in wool. Keep it up at Nationals.
For some, the closest they will come to agriculture is a local pet store or grooming shop. Proficiency applicants in small animal production and care are putting a positive and informed face forward for all of these consumers. The 2016 New York State finalists in small animal production and care proficiency are Gabriella Palacios, John Bown FFA, Nora O'Killy from Tri-Valley FFA, and Alexis McDougall from Whitman FFA. Congratulations to our 2016 winner, Alexis McDougall from Whitman FFA. Alexis deals in the care, breeding, and selling of exotic small animals. With ambitions to work with exotic animals in zoos, Alexis networked with a rabbit breeder and began a small hedgehog breeding program. She has since diversified into breeding chinchillas and dagoos on top of expanding her hedgehog army. Your SAE is looking good. Congratulations, Alexis.
For those of us with a love for bacon and ham, swine production is one of the best proficiency areas. These guys actually bring home the bacon. Our gold ranking finalist for swine production is Kaylee Fairchild from Unadilla FFA. Kaylee works to care for all aspects of swine, including feeding, watering, and cleaning them. Kaylee also helps to farrow sows and gilts. You can also find Kaylee at county fairs as she shows her hogs. Keep up the great work, Kaylee.
Students in the veterinary science proficiency area can work alongside veterinarians in clinical practices, research facilities, colleges of veterinary medicine, the animal health industry, or any other environment in which they assist veterinarians in performing duties related to the health of people and/or the health and welfare of large and small animals. This year's 3 gold ranking applicants are Gabriella Palacios of the John Bown FFA, Camille Ledoux of the Beaver River FFA, and Alexis Blanchard of the John Bown FFA. Congratulations to this year's veterinary science winner, Camille Ledoux from the Beaver River FFA chapter. Camille utilized the local vet as her mentor for the past 5 years and assisted with on-blood farm draws and fecal sampling. Later taking a 4-week veterinary class through 4-H, Camille broadened her knowledge of medicine use in the veterinary industry. Keep striving for greatness, Camille, and good luck at Nationals.
In wildlife and production management, students work to improve the availability of fish and wildlife through practices such as land and water habitat improvement, develop new land and water habitats, trapping, or stock fish and wild game. The 2016 gold-ranked applicants are Logan Drake of the Indian River FFA and Tucker Amato of the Indian River FFA. Please help us to congratulate Tucker Amato of the Indian River FFA chapter for winning the Wildlife Production and Management Proficiency area. Planting food plots, creating habitats, and managing wildlife properly are only a few tasks Tucker performs during the hunting season. Tucker knows the importance of balancing populations, keeping the prey up, and the nuisance predators down. Through practice and apprenticeship, Tucker has gone from just a tag-along with basic skills to a legally hireable wildlife conservationist. Tucker has gone from just a tag-along with basic skills to a legally hireable wildlife conservationist that can remove animals from farms that pose threats to livestock. Great work, Tucker!
Congratulations to all of our proficiency winners. Let's give them one more round of applause. In FFA, we understand the need for agriculturalists to proactively tell the story on a daily basis. Our next 3 individuals were identified earlier in this convention for the Excellence in Public Relations Awards. Christiane Frank from the VVS chapter maintains relationships and records, giving her chapter an organized, positive reputation with the school and community. From keeping detailed minutes and meetings to recognizing partners through timely, meaningful correspondence, the role of a secretary is critical for a chapter's success. Congratulations to Christiane for being our Secretary's Book State winner. Chapter Scrapbook tells the story of our chapters in a personal way, displayed year-round to share our story within our own organization or for the community through banquets and state fairs.
Scrapbooks emphasize the total value of our programs that they have for students in our schools. This year's winning scrapbook comes from the DeRuyter FFA chapter. Finally, the Reporter's Portfolio Award asks students to assemble their published and attempted articles. Chapter reporters across New York work with local papers and online news organizations to share the story of agriculture, agriculture education, and FFA. Effective public relations make chapters stronger and help gain community support. Granville's FFA, Allison Arnado, assembled the state-winning portfolio for 2016. Congratulations to all of our winners. Keep telling our story in a way that makes your communities proud. We've seen some of New York's talent in the form of farmers and landscapers. Now let's get ready to take away to see how other FFA members have talent. Please help us in welcoming Elizabeth Collins from the Stockbridge Valley FFA.
Well, I went down to the Grundy County auction where I saw something I just had to have. My mind told me I should proceed with caution, but my heart said go ahead and make a bid on that. And I said, hey pretty lady, won't you give me a sign? I'd give anything to make you mine on mine. I'll do your bidding and be at your beck and call. Yeah, I've never seen anyone looking so fine. Man, I gotta have her, she's a one of a kind. I'm going once, going twice, I'm sold on the lady in the second row. She's an 8, she's a 9, she's a 10, I know. She's got ruby red lips, blonde hair, blue eyes, and I'm about to bid my heart goodbye. Well, the auctioneer was going about a mile a minute. He was taking bids and calling them out loud, and I guess I was really getting in it, 'cause I just shouted out above the crowd. And I said, hey pretty lady, won't you give me a sign? I'd give anything to make you mine on mine. I'll do your bidding and be at your beck and call. Yeah, I've never seen anyone looking so fine. Man, I gotta have her, she's a one of a kind. I'm going once, going twice, I'm sold on the lady in a long black dress. Well, she won my heart, it was no contest, with a ruby red lips, blonde hair, blue eyes. Well, I'm about to bid my heart goodbye. Yeah, we found love on the auction block, and I hauled her heart away. Now we still love to laugh about the way we met that day when I said, hey pretty lady, won't you give me a sign? I'd give anything to make you mine on mine. I'll do your bidding and be at your beck and call. Yeah, I've never seen anyone looking so fine. Man, I gotta have her, she's a one of a kind. I'm going once, going twice, I'm sold on the lady in the second row. She's an 8, she's a 9, she's a 10, I know. She's got ruby red lips, blonde hair, blue eyes, and I'm about to bid my heart goodbye.
Good job. Go sit here. That was incredible. Let's give it up one more time from Elizabeth from Stockbridge Valley. Would Sarah LaLumiere please join me at the podium for a very special introduction?
Are we out of the woods yet? Are we out of the woods yet? Are we out of the woods yet? Are we out of the woods? I have Aaron Langdale to thank for introducing me to this annoyingly repetitive song. We were in the car with a group of friends coming home from a spring break trip to the Jersey Shore. Even though the high of that day was about 40 degrees, Aaron still somehow managed to get a sunburn. Anyways, we were all taking turns playing our favorite CDs, and when it came Aaron's turn, she all too quickly whipped out her 1989 Taylor Swift album. The entire car groaned, but Erin just ignored the comments and jammed to that entire CD. You see, Erin had put up with my classic country and Jenna and Alex alternative rock without a single complaint. And when it came her turn, she had no problems blasting T-Swift no matter what the rest of the car thought. Erin has always had this incredible ability to listen to and truly respect the opinions of others while simultaneously standing firm in whatever she is passionate about. Whether she's rocking out to a much-hated Taylor Swift song, ordering her favorite meal, grilled cheese sandwich, at a steakhouse, or explaining CDEs to a group of unenthused freshmen, Erin is capable of sticking up for the things she loves, no matter what the masses say. I know Erin will always have a part in FFA, and that the entire organization is lucky to have this fearlessly wonderful person to back them up. New York State FFA, I present to you your 2015-2016 reporter, Erin Langdale.
Help! I need somebody. Help! Not just anybody. Help! You know I need someone. Help! When I was younger, so much younger than today, I never needed anybody's help in any way. But now these days are gone, I'm not so self-assured. Now I find I've changed my mind. I know.
Redheads. We're so rare, we're basically the unicorns of humankind. Growing up with red hair is definitely an experience that influences you as a person. Every redheaded nickname, I've been called it. Ginger, copper top, carrot head, you name it. But I wouldn't trade my ginger hair for anything. And honestly, there's a lot of really awesome people in this elite 2% of the world's population. There's Miss Frizzle, Adele, the Weasley family, and even Ronald McDonald. But if you ask me who I've always thought the most influential redhead of all time was, I would without a doubt say little orphan Annie. Right? Annie was the original redheaded icon with her spunk and cleverness. As a kid, I never truly understood the hard knock life Annie had, but what I did know was that I wanted to be just like her. If I was Annie, I would get to sing and dance all day long. I mean, what more could you ask for in life? Well, when I was 10, I had the opportunity to temporarily live her life when I was cast as her character in the world-famous Park Avenue Elementary School's production of Annie. Funny for you, kind of embarrassing for me. I think the reason I loved and still continue to love Annie come down to who she was as a person, and the fact that even beyond the crazy curly red hair, she was still a lot like me. The way Annie related to my life the most was how independent she was. Annie and I prided ourselves in our ability to take on the world alone, even when sometimes it was too big for us to handle. For Annie and I, our independence would hold us back from accepting the help that was offered to us, and in the long run, keep us from the entire picture of a brighter, sunnier tomorrow. Now that I think about it, maybe another reason that I wanted to be Annie so badly was because she never seemed to be stuck in math class. Ever since I was able to comprehend what math was, I hated it. By the time I reached 10th grade geometry, I had already accepted the inevitable fact that I was going to do horrible in the class before the first day even came. On that first day, I met Mr. Mark. And I didn't know it then, but Mr. Mark was going to change the way I felt about math and so much more. As the year went on, I predictably started to struggle in math, and as my grades sunk, so did my confidence. I tried to ignore my grades and refused to ask for help. I figured that I struggled in math long enough, so what was the point of even trying to succeed? It wasn't until I finally asked for the help I so desperately needed from Mr. Mark that I reached my initial goal of getting my grades up, but Mr. Mark taught me so much more than what was on the next test. If I told you everything Mr. Mark taught me, I could probably talk for this entire convention. So I'll share the most important thing I learned with you. Mr. Mark told me to not be afraid to ask for help. He taught me to not let past failures or defeats hold you back from asking questions. Mr. Mark made me realize that asking for help is a part of who we are, and it's what makes us human. Realizing and accepting the fact that we need help is not that simple, and it doesn't happen in an instant. Think about it. Why did I refuse to ask for help in math even though I knew I was struggling? It's because for some reason, there's a stigma associated with asking for help. Sometimes in the moments where we feel as if we need help the most, we feel as if it's pointless, or that it's never going to get any better, or that somehow we are less than or stupid when we ask for help. But just like Mr. Mark taught me, asking for help is what makes us human. We have to push past the negativity and the stigma and realize the importance of advocating for ourselves, because if we don't, we will never receive the help we need. When we don't ask for help, we immediately stop the opportunity to grow from new experiences and perspectives right in its tracks. Realizing and accepting the fact that we need help does not happen in an instant, and it's so much more complicated than we realize. Once we receive help, we need to accept it, apply it, and use it. I know that seems pretty simple, because why would we ask for help if we don't use it? But sometimes we find ourselves in situations where it's a little bit more complex. How many of you guys have ever taken a hearing test? You know, the ones where you wear the huge, uncomfortable headphones for about 5 minutes, and you raise your hand every time you hear a buzz or a beep? Well, when I was a kid, those machines always must have been broken or something, because I could never hear the sounds coming into the headphones. Or at least, I thought they were broken. You see, when you're in 5th grade, you don't think the lack of sound in a hearing test is coming from your end. I mean, only old people can't hear, right? Well, apparently, I'd been misinformed. I was sent to an audiologist completely clueless as to why I was there. For all I knew, they just sent me to another doctor because he had machines that actually worked. But this time, they gave me a hearing test that seemed to last for hours. When the exam finally ended, the audiologist said the words that changed my life forever. Erin is going to need hearing aids. In that moment, I didn't quite know how, but I knew my life was going to change. I didn't realize that hearing aids amplify the sound of everything around you, including what your brain once filtered out as background noise. And it's very difficult to navigate in certain situations. With the world's volume turned up and the view turned upside down, things weren't looking too good for me. These tiny little things, almost insignificant in size, had consumed my entire being and became my arch nemesis. I fell into the stigma of feeling less than because of the bits and pieces of conversation I missed when I wasn't wearing my hearing aids, and I felt like a burden for my discomfort and negativity when I was wearing them. I felt like a burden for my discomfort and negativity when I was wearing them. I spent so long trying to focus on the negatives that my hearing aids caused me, then I neglected to realize how they could help me in the long run. It wasn't until this summer at Camp Oswegatchie where I really started to accept the help that I'd been ignoring for years. This summer, I spent 3 awesome weeks at camp where I got to meet so many FFA members and had the opportunity to facilitate leadership workshops with my teammates. It was in those workshops where our mentor for the summer, Hawk Boys, realized how I had struggled hearing campers. He asked me if I could wear my hearing aids. Honestly, wearing my hearing aids was the last thing I wanted to do. And I had spent so long trying to keep the fact that I was hard of hearing on the down low that even the mention of my tiny arch nemesis was my kryptonite. It took me a while, but I realized that Hawk wasn't someone forcing me to wear my hearing aids just because he said so. He was someone who saw me struggling and offered a way to help me. I'm still not used to wearing my hearing aids all the time. In fact, this convention has kind of pushed that limit a little bit. but it's the conscious effort we put towards making a positive change after we've received help from someone that makes a bolder, louder imprint. I'm sure we've all had moments like this. Moments where we have to come down from our pride and look into the perspective of the person trying to help us. We have to see the genuine kindness of those who want to see us grow. Maybe it's our ag teachers editing a speech we love, even though we think every single part is important. Maybe it's our coaches who always seem to focus on our weaknesses, but in reality, only want us to get better. We can focus on the negativity and sit in self-pity about what we can't do, or we can focus on what we can do to change the course of where we are and flow in a positive direction. In the hardest of times, where the world seems to be crashing down at our feet, it's the way in which we change our mindset. It's when we change our perspective that can make us grow and spread our roots through the rubble around us. It's when Annie accepts the help and the love from the people around her that her life begins to change. When Annie first arrives at Oliver Warbucks' house, it takes her time to adjust to the kindness and the help that she was given. Of all of the adventures Annie had, her happy ending might not have happened if she never accepted help. These happy endings don't just happen on the big screen. But it's in those real life moments where we overcome the challenges we face that are the most cinematic. It's the genuine pride and excitement that comes across that doesn't require fancy Hollywood productions or acting lessons. All it takes is applying help to our lives. Throughout our lives, there are people who inspire us. They take us from our lowest moments to our greatest accomplishments. We are all in this crazy, wonderful, magical thing called life together. And it's pretty safe to say that we all get by with a little help from our friends.
Oh, I get by with a little help from my friends. Gonna try with a little help from my friends. Do you need anybody? I need somebody to love.
This year, you have shown true dedication for our organization. Whether it was picking the perfect song for long car rides or turning an ordinary paragraph into the perfect story, your passion has truly shown. Thank you for everything that you've done this year, and most importantly, thank you for being yourself. It's definitely safe to say that we've gotten by with a little help from you, our friend, this year. This isn't goodbye forever, it's only goodbye for now. No matter how many miles separate us, we will always have these memories to hold on to wherever we go. Team Spa Day forever, Kayla, Trisha, Sarah, Lindsay, and Emma Rose. Ladies and gentlemen, for the last time, your 2015-2016 State Reporter, Erin Langdale.
Somebody to love. Would you believe in a love at first sight? Yes, I'm certain that it happens all the time.
These next group of individuals have made an imprint on our lives as they have guided and taught us over the years. Please help me in welcoming our ag teachers to the stage.
Just like how we have the FFA creed, our ag teachers have a creed of their own. They believe in the future of agriculture and educating the next generation.
They believe in the ability of every student to reach their full potential.
They believe in the true loyalty in the people around them.
They believe in honest work and dedication. They
believe in us.
We believe in ourselves because they believed in us. This small token can't even begin to describe the gratitude we have for our ag teachers and the lasting imprint that they have had on our lives. Please help us in welcoming our ag teachers to the stage.
Miss Bozzard, thank you for pushing me, encouraging me, and always telling me exactly how it is when I need to hear it. The hours spent after school, heart-to-heart conversations in the car, and last-minute pep talks before competition have always been reminders of how blessed I am to have a truly dedicated ag teacher. Thank you for seeing the potential in me even when I couldn't see it myself. FFA members and guests, my advisor, Mrs. Johanna Bozard.
Miss Colgan, thank you for fueling my passion for agriculture. Without you, I would not be the person I am today. You saw the potential in me even when I didn't know it was there. From the 8th grader who was terrified to speak at our banquet, to the college freshman standing on stage in front of over 1,000 people, you have been there in every moment of growth. I am blessed to have gotten to know you and to have learned so much from you. FFA members and guests, I present to you my advisor, Nancy Colgan.
Mrs. Foote, thanks for teaching me life skills like how to get free stuff, our weekly text while watching The Bachelor, and always showing me the importance of agriculture. Mr. Kelly, thank you for endlessly reminding me that telling my embarrassing stories builds character, teaching me all of the rules of Parley Pro, and for always listening to everything I have to say. Thank you both for always encouraging me to reach farther and do more. Your support and confidence in me has helped shape me into the person I am today.
Mrs. Foote, because of you, I've grown a huge appreciation for scarves, free stuff, and how much I love everybody. You keep me grounded, that's for sure. Your authenticity is why I've always looked up to you and something I strive to be every single day because of you. You make me a better leader, role model, and person, and I can't thank you enough for every extra minute you've spent molding me into who I am today. Mr. Kelly, I can't thank you enough for every stupidly corny joke, every embarrassing Trisha story, and every piece of fatherly advice. You've always pushed me to be the best I can be, and thank you for recognizing my potential. You always know just what to say, whether it's before a big contest, when I'm having a bad day, or when you recognize something I did well. I can't thank you enough for always being there for me and everything you've done to get me here. Ladies and gentlemen, our advisors, Mrs. Betsy Foote and Mr. Chris Kelly.
Mr. Marbett, since 8th grade, you've been one of my major role models. You've encouraged me to step out of my comfort zone and to try new things. If it wasn't for you, I still would have thought FFA was just about farming and would not have been blessed with all the opportunities I have gained and found the career path I will be taking. My days have been filled with many laughs while you were impersonating farm animals or making fun of me. Even though I'll be moving on to college, you will still be a major part of my life. Thank you for all you've done. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for my ag advisor, Mr. David Marbett.
Mr. Crenning, I am so thankful to have an advisor as kind-hearted and dedicated as you by my side. No matter what mood I am in, you have always been there to crack a joke or counsel me through what seemed like was the end of the world. You have been my teacher, mentor, friend, and many times my counselor. But over the years, you have become my family. Thank you for everything you have done for me, for the support you have given unconditionally, and for treating me like one of your own. I am so grateful to be able to call you my advisor. Ladies and gentlemen, the pride of Orleans County, Mr. Adam Crenning.
The love, the dedication, and wisdom our ag teachers have given us over the years has helped us become the leaders we are today. Even though they aren't famous on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, they're still celebrities in our eyes. Help us in thanking our ag teachers one last time. Since 1926, members of the New York FFA have been leaving their imprint across the state and across this organization as a whole. Whether it was purchasing the camp or the land for Camp Oswegatchie, empowering women to be involved, or moving on to serve on the local, state, and national levels, these leaders have certainly made their legacy here in the state. Tonight, we have the honor of recognizing some very important alumni. legacy our state officers have had over the past 90 years. The past two state officer teams have made a tradition where they give back to the association who gave them a once-in-a-lifetime experience. Our team would like to take the time to do the same, but in a little bit of a different way. Yeah! I would tell you guys jokes right now if I knew something, but it's kind of off the cuff right now. Our state officer team has worked hard to donate $1,000 in the hope of funding future community service activities for students. This year, our team was able to run a workshop at the COLT conference where we were able to give away two $500 awards for students to run their community activities without the stress of financial need. We hope that your team will help continue this tradition at next year's COLT conference. We hope that during your year of service, you'll find something that you're so passionate about that you'll want to give back to the association as well. Good luck.
Over the years, New York has selected those with exceptional leadership and character to be the National Officer Candidate. They exemplify imprint through their accomplishments in FFA. They become strong legacies in our association. We are proud to introduce Ashley Willits from the Loudville Academy FFA chapter as our 2016 National Officer Candidate, and welcome back her state officer team to share why they believe in her so much.
Ashley, I am so thankful that you beat me in the creed in 9th grade. I promise I won't hold it over you. I cannot wait to watch you represent us on the national level with your love for misheard song lyrics, glitter, and agriculture. I'm so thankful that we've become so close over the years, and I'm so excited to continue our Bible study together.
Miss Willits, you've beat me in 2 elections now, and that is something I'm very proud to say. You're an excellent candidate for this position, and I've known Ashley Willits all the way from here to about here, and I've been incredibly blessed to know you along the way. Congratulations and good luck.
Ashley, I can honestly say that I've never had a friend that has cared more about the well-being and happiness of the people she loves. I can honestly say that I've never met a person that has more empathy for everyone around her, and I think that is something that shines through for you. Your character drives you in everything that you do and allows you to be as successful as you are. You interview better than anyone I have ever freaking seen, and it's amazing to me. You can't say that. And I'm serious, and I apologize for that, but I'm serious. And your ability to turn on seriousness and your ability to turn on that insane talent that you have is the thing that is most impressive to me about you, because you can do it at any time. I know that we're going to be represented incredibly well on the national level from New York, and I love you, gal.
Ashley. I'm so glad that I not only get to call you my best friend, but my sister. I hope that as you get prepared to represent our state in Indianapolis this year, that you choose courage, you choose love, you choose strength, and you choose joy. We love you so much, and we're so incredibly proud of you. So let's give you a new jacket. And show them.
Our next speaker knows the proper way to grow a beard, how to love life, and how to overcome the difficulties he's faced in order to tell his story. Kyle has dedicated his career to letting students know that their lives are defined by the things that they do, the actions they take, the people they help, and the lives they change. Ladies and gentlemen, get ready for a legacy maker and help me welcome Kyle Sheely.
How are we? How you guys doing tonight? Well, tonight we're going to talk about stories. I'll tell you a little bit about my story. I'll tell you some funny stories, some true stories, some potentially embarrassing stories from my own life. But ultimately, we're here to talk about your story and how each and every one of us can use the stories that our lives are telling to make a difference in our communities and ultimately in our world. But I figure since we're talking so much about stories, it would only be fair if I started out with one of my own. When I was in college, I lived in this house that was just off campus a couple blocks, and I lived there with two of my buddies, but we all had different schedules, different social schedules, work schedules, class schedules, so you never knew who was going to be home, if anybody was going to be home when you got home. So this one day, I left early in the morning. I didn't get back until late that night, and when I pulled into the driveway, it's already dark out, and I can tell two things right away. I can tell there's no other cars in the driveway, and there are no lights on in the house. It's just pitch black. So from that, I can infer that I am the only person home. I park my car in the driveway and I grab my backpack and I walk up to the front door and I open the front door. Now, what you have to know about this house is that when you walk into the front door, you were immediately in the living room. And then from there, a hallway went back to the back of the house and doorways branched off on the left and on the right because that's how a hallway works. And then at the back of that hallway was a door that led into my bedroom. That door was open that night, so I could see all the way from the front door where I was still standing with my hand on the doorknob. I could see through the living room, through the hallway, down the hallway, into my bedroom, through my bedroom actually, to the back wall of my bedroom, which was also the back wall of the house. The reason I could see it so clearly was because there was, as I mentioned, there were no lights on in the house. The only source of light was coming in through this picture window. There was this big picture window out that looked into the backyard. And there was a light on out behind the house, this porch light that was shining out and back. And that light was streaming in. That was the only light source in the house. So I walk into the house, I open the door, I still have my hand on the door handle. I see all the way down, I see that light streaming in. But more importantly and more concerning to me in that moment was what I saw silhouetted against that light, which was a 7-foot-tall dude standing in my room with a crossbow. Yeah, that was my reaction too. Oh, hey, welcome to my house, I guess. Please don't murder me. And in a moment like that, your body and your mind do very different things. Like my body just completely shut down. Like I was just frozen there and I'm thinking like, I should probably run, right? That's what you should do in this situation, run. And my legs were like, ha, we're not doing that. They're like, you haven't been doing your cardio lately, dude. I don't think this is going to end well for us. So I'm like, okay, well, maybe I should talk to him, right? Like if I don't get murdered right now, I'm going to eventually be a speaker. I should go talk to this guy. I should use my words. And my vocal cords are like, not happening. So I'm just like frozen there like this. But I seem to surprise this guy because on the other end of the house, he's over there frozen there like this, just kind of standing there. And I'm frozen there like this, and then he's frozen there like this, and I'm frozen there like this, and he's frozen there like this. And in the back of my mind, I'm thinking like, how long is this going to take? Because I'm going to have to pee at some point, you know? But before I can say anything, before I can do anything, all of a sudden, this new wave of thought starts going through my mind, right? A million questions. See, my body is just completely shut down, but my mind is making up for it. Just who, what, where, when, why, how? Who is this person? What is he doing here? Where did he come from? How did he get in? And why is he robbing me? I'm a college student. I have nothing to offer you. My life possessions at that point consisted of about 36 packs of ramen noodles in assorted flavors. I was like, listen, dude, I got chicken, I got beef, I got oriental, like, That's it. Those are the options. It's worth about $6 total. You can have it, though. Right? I'm like, why is he robbing me? But before I could say anything, before I could think anything, all of a sudden another wave of thoughts starts through, and my life begins to flash before my eyes. And they tell you that happens, right? Like in the movies and in popular culture and stuff. They tell you that if you're in like a dangerous situation or a difficult situation, your life will begin to flash before your eyes. But what they don't tell you is that there's a soundtrack to that movie. And it doesn't matter what your life was like or who you were like or what good or bad or any of that. It's the same soundtrack for everyone. It's that sad Sarah McLachlan song with the puppies, and it's like, I will remember you. So now I'm thinking back about my life, but now I'm also thinking about puppies, so it's just double sad, you know? But I'm thinking about my life, you guys. I'm thinking about ups and downs and highs and lows and things that I was proud of, but also things that I regretted, like this time that I was a little kid and I told a lie to my mom. And I realized in that moment, like, oh no, I never confessed that to her, that I was the one that put the mustard on the ceiling. And now she's going to find out that it was me, and she's not going to be happy about it, and it's going to say on my tombstone, here lies Kyle, who lied to his mother. She's going to be bummed, right? I'm thinking about highs and lows, ups and downs from elementary school, middle school, high school, and then finally these early days of college, and the last memory comes into focus. The last memory in this montage of my entire life comes into focus, and it was a memory from that very morning. See, I'd been getting ready to go to class. I've been heading out the door, right? Just finished my bowl of Fruit Loops like a grown-up, and I'm walking out the door, and my roommate goes, Kyle, I got to stop you real quick. Kyle, dude, I know you got to go to class, but real quick, my life has become too cluttered. My room has become too cluttered. I got to downsize. I got to simplify. And he said, he pointed to this pile of stuff that's just in our living room. And he said, do you want any of this? I'm getting rid of all of this. If you want it, you can have it. If not, I'll give it to Goodwill, and then Macklemore can have it, right? So he points to this pile, and he says, if you want it, it's yours. And so I was torn because I'm like, I like free stuff, but I also got to get to class, right? And checking my watch, I'm like, got to get to class. Like, free stuff, class, free stuff, class. Finally, make this snap decision. I'm like, I'll take that. And I pointed at something. I said, I want that. And as the door is closing behind me, I can hear my roommate say, okay, cool, I'll put it in your room. Okay, cool, I'll put it in your room. So this memory kind of fades out to a close, and now I'm like, what was that about? Why was that memory in there, right? Shouldn't I why was that the penultimate, the final memory in my entire montage of my life with ups and downs and highs and lows and good times and adventures and all this, and then it ends with this memory of my roommate's awkward garage sale, right? And I'm like, why was that in there? But there's this other part of my mind that's like, no, Kyle, don't brush that off, okay? Focus on that, because that memory is the key to this whole thing. That is the key that unlocks all of this. That is the most important memory of all. Focus on it. What was that thing? What was that thing that you said, I want that? And he said, okay, cool, I'll put it in your room. And so I'm like racking my brain, and then it hit me. And I realized that for the last 5 minutes of my life, I'd been having an intense emotional standoff with a 7-foot-tall cardboard cutout of Chewbacca. Now, I wish that I could tell you that that's the only time that's ever happened to me in my life, but it's not. That's happened like 3 times that I've been scared half to death by cardboard cutouts. That is a 100% true story, though. I don't know how you would measure this sort of thing, but my guess is that during that 5 minutes of my life, I lost 5 to 10 years off the end of my life just from the stress of that situation. My heart was just like machine gunning out of my chest, just, right? And I would have lived a much longer and happier and more fulfilling life had I simply been paying attention. Now, paying attention is an important skill to have, right? It's an important skill to have in life. How many of you have that friend that just does not pay attention at all? We all have that one friend. Some of you are like elbowing them right now, and they're like, wait, what's going on? What did he say? We all have that one friend that's taken 4 years of Spanish class, and you're walking down the hallway one day, and you're like, hola, amigo, and they're like, what? Just have no idea what you're talking about, and you're like genuinely concerned about this person's future. You're like, how are you managing to feed and clothe yourself every day? Now, paying attention is important in general, but guys, it's especially important for me because this is my job. This is what I do. I travel all over the country and I talk for a living. And when you're someone who talks, it's really important for you to know if the audience is paying attention, because if they're not, that means I gotta do something different. I gotta switch it up. I gotta change my game, right? I gotta step it up. So I'm constantly on the lookout. Is the audience with me? Are they tracking? Are they following? Are they paying attention? But here's the problem. I speak primarily to teenagers. You guys are really good at looking like you're paying attention. Some of you, like your autopilot is just on lock, man. You have got that thing down, and it's frankly like scary advanced technology you're working with here. Like some of you, when your teacher's talking, you look like this. Right? You're nodding, eyes wide open. It might not even be your real eyes. You may just painted eyes onto your eyelids, but it looks real good, right? It's legit. You spent a lot of time on that. Your mouth is wide open. You look like, yes, I love knowledge. Learning is my jam, right? Some of you can even take it up another step. You're taking notes. You're not taking notes. You're just moving your arm back and forth, right? You're just digging through. You've dug through like 8 pieces of the same paper, right? Just drawing this black rainbow. But from the front, it's like, right? You just look so great, but in your mind, you don't even know where you are. You don't even know what day it is, right? You're in a totally different area of the mental universe. So I can't just get up here and expect, oh, I'll be able to tell. I'll be able to tell if they're paying attention. No. So instead, what I have to do is I have to prepare in my everyday life, not in my on-stage life, but in my off-stage life, in my everyday off-stage life, when I'm like checking into a hotel, or when I'm like renewing my driver's license, or paying my taxes, or putting gas in my car, or any of those like daily interactions that are so boring that take up so much of our life. I'm constantly in those situations saying, hey, is this dude paying attention? Is this lady paying attention? By doing that every day, it builds up that muscle, and then I'm much better prepared when I get up on stage. So I've actually developed a set of 3 tests. 3 tests that I use to determine if the people I'm interacting with on a day-to-day basis are paying attention or not. I've spent years of my life, lots of time, effort, energy, resources, building these tests. But I want to share them with you guys because you seem pretty cool. So everybody say test number 1. Test number 1 is this. Whenever I'm buying something, and the item or items that I am buying comes to a total cost of, focus here, $13.01 to $18.99. It has to be somewhere in that range. And when the clerk gives the total, and the total falls between $13.01 and $18.99, I have this phrase that I like to say. And based solely on the clerk's reaction to that phrase, I can tell instantly if they're paying attention or not. The phrase is, that's the year I was born. So here's how it works. I was at Subway the other day with a buddy of mine, and I said, hey, man, my treat today, okay? So get whatever you want. So we got like 2 chips, sandwiches, cookies, drinks, the whole 9 yards. I spared no expense on this extravagant Subway feast. Okay, and we get up to the front, and the lady's like, boop, 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 boop. Well, she didn't actually make that sound. That would have made her. She just typed it all in. She types it all in, and the machine goes, boop, boop, boop. And she goes, oh, sir, that'll be $14.87. I didn't even skip a beat. I was like, $14.87? That's nuts. That's the year I was born. She just looked at me with a straight face and was like, cool. Right over her head, right? It's funny because I've been doing this test for several years, and when I first started doing it, I would get one of 3 reactions. Either I get her reaction where the person was just totally clueless, or I get a second reaction where the person was like, I don't think this dude knows what year he was born. Or I'd get a third reaction when the person realized that I was joking and they laughed and they passed the test, right? But now that like Twilight has become this big thing in our culture, like now there's this 4th reaction where people are like, maybe this dude was born in 1487. They kind of start backing up. They're like, you take this one, boss. I'm going on break, right? That was test number 1. Everybody say test number 2. Test number 2 is this. Whenever I am talking to somebody about a movie, and the movie that we're talking about is obviously fictional in nature, like it didn't actually happen, I will do everything I can to convince that person the movie is based on a true story. So the more ridiculous the movie, the better. So a while back, I was talking to this buddy of mine. He and I are both grown men, and so we were having a grown man conversation. We weren't having a little boy discussion. We weren't talking about little kid stuff. We're talking about man stuff. Like in this case, we were talking about Pixar movies. Right? Yeah. And he said, you know what, Kyle? I'm not ashamed as a man to say this. I love Toy Story. How many of you guys love Toy Story? Yeah? How about this? This is an honest place, a circle of trust, safe place here. Who cried at the end of Toy Story 3? If your hand is not up, you're a liar, all right? Or a serial killer with no emotions. Those are the only 2 options. Because that movie will grab your head and squeeze the tear juice just right out of it, okay? I did. I cried at the end of Toy Story 3. I don't even know if cried is like a strong enough word to describe what happened to me emotionally in that movie. I was dehydrated at the end of that film. I had to drink a Gatorade to replenish the weeping. But we weren't talking about Toy Story 3, we were talking about Toy Story 1. And I said, he said, Kyle, I'm not ashamed to say I love Toy Story. And I said, I also love Toy Story. But did you know this, my friend? Most people don't know this. Toy Story is actually based on a true story. And he was like, real? No. And I thought the fact that you got half of the word really out of your mouth before you realized that a movie about talking toys going on a wild adventure is not based in reality just showed me that this dude was not paying enough attention. Like he passed the test, but just barely, like F+, right? But my favorite test of all is test number 3. Everybody say test number 3. Test number 3 revolves around the use of the phrase story of my life. How many of you guys have ever heard or used the phrase story of my life? Not the One Direction song. The story of my life. Oh, sorry. I know some of you are like, this dude can sing. He could be in the band, right? And then some of you are like, this guy is horrible. He could be in the band, right? It depends on how you feel about One Direction, I guess. But I'm not talking about the One Direction song, story of my life. I'm talking about the phrase, story of my life. And the phrase, story of my life, is this phrase that we use to show empathy, to show understanding. It's like a shorthand way of saying, listen, I know what you're going through because I've been through that. I understand what you're dealing with because I've dealt with that. I understand the struggles and difficulties that you're facing because I, too, have faced those things. But that's a lot of words to say, and we don't want to say a lot of words, so we're just like, story of my life, bro. Or if we're not talking to a bro, we might be like, story of my life, yo. But see, I like to use the phrase story of my life in circumstances and situations where we're talking about something that I have no experience with whatsoever. It's even better when it's something I could not possibly have ever experienced. So a while back, I was talking to this lady I know. Her and her husband have 4 children under the age of 5. Wait, it gets better. She was pregnant with number 5. That's a basketball team, you guys. That's pretty impressive. So she had just told me, hey, we're about to have our 5th kid. And I said all the stuff you're supposed to say in that situation. I said, congratulations. You know if it's a boy or a girl? Do you have a name picked out? What's the due date? Just all the cliche stuff you're supposed to say. And she answered. We had this cliche conversation. And then I said, all right, let's get real here. Okay, I've got a question. This might seem weird, but just go with me here. How does this pregnancy compare to your past pregnancies? Has it been easier or harder? Has it been better or has it been worse? Has it been different or has it been the same? And the reason that I asked is because my wife at the time, not my wife at the time, she's still my wife. At the time, my wife was pregnant with our 2nd child. We now have 3 childs. Follow me on Instagram. They're adorable. But at the time, we only had 1 child, and we just found out we were about to have our 2nd. I want to be a good supportive husband. I want to be a supportive dad. I wanted to know, how is this going to be different than the first one, right? It's going to be different. It's going to be the same. It's going to be easier. It's going to be harder. It's going to be better. It's going to be worse, right? So I asked this lady, who's like the Google of pregnancy. I'm like, what should I expect here? And she said, Kyle, honestly, that's a hard question to answer. It's a hard question to answer because I've been pregnant 5 times in just under 5 years, and I've got like, hormones up and down, up and down, up and down, stress levels up and down, up and down, up and down, my belly up and down, up and down, up and down, right? Just one thing after another. And she said, Kyle, it's hard for me to answer. And I said, I can understand that. She said this whole thing just kind of blurred into this one long memory. And I said, I get that, and you guys get that too, right? Like some of you seniors have had that experience where you're telling a friend a story, and you're like, dude, okay, so like 3 weeks ago, this thing happened. And at the end of your story, your buddy's like, okay, first of all, I was there. And second of all, that happened in 3rd grade. And you're like, I think you might be right about that, right? Sometimes school can just be this one long blurry memory that all just kind of melts together. And so I said, I can understand that. But then she said this. She said, Kyle, sometimes I feel, if I'm honest with you, sometimes I feel like I've been pregnant my whole life. And I was like, story of my life, bro. Story of my life. Now, she laughed like you did, which showed me that she got the joke. She passed the test with flying colors. As you guys are going along the story of your life, though, people will come along and try to influence that story one way or another. Some of those people will be positive, like your parents, your teachers, your FFA advisors, and some of them will be negative. And here's how you can tell the difference. Positive influences, they'll generally be pretty straightforward with you. They'll just say, here's the path I think you should take, and here's why. Here's what it's going to cost you, but here's why I think that's a wise investment. Here's the sacrifice you're going to have to make, but here's how that'll pay off down the line. They'll just lay it all out there. No one's going to come to you and do that if they're a negative influence. Like, no one's going to be like, hey, I want to ruin your life. What do you say? And you're like, yes, that's what I've been looking for, right? So instead what they'll do is they'll get you to believe something that's not true, but they'll get you to believe it as though it were true. And by believing these things not true as though it were true, it warps your worldview, not just on that one thing, but on a lot of things. It causes you to make decisions you otherwise would not make, and it can really train wreck your life. And I know some of you are like, what are you talking about? If you boil all that down in layman's terms, it's just, hey, be careful because people will lie to you. Be careful because there are people out there that will lie to you because they think that's fun, and they like to mislead young people. And I know as soon as I say this, some of you are like, oh, this again. I've heard this before. This is just a scare tactic that grown-ups use to keep young people from having fun, right? They say, oh, watch out, there's these bad people that will lie to you. And you're thinking, that's ridiculous. What kind of person would do that, right? People are basically good, right? That's what you're probably thinking. You're thinking people are basically good. What kind of sick, twisted individual would lie to young people for fun? And the answer is my wife. Now, I love my wife. My wife's my best friend in the whole world. I would take a bullet for my wife any day. Aw, but my wife has this one problem. See, my wife loves to tell lies to small children. Some of you are like, story of my life, bro. I found this out when we were at the zoo. Who loves the zoo? The zoo is fantastic. What's your favorite zoo animal? Yell it out. Giraffe, turtle, elephant. Somebody said gerbil? That is not a zoo animal, my friend. Your friend just lied to you and took your $6. No, that's awesome that everybody has their own favorite animal, as long as you realize that you're wrong, because the monkey is where it's at, you guys. The monkey is the best animal at the zoo. I go to the zoos just to see monkeys. So my wife and I, we had just gotten married. We go on this date one time. We go to the zoo. I'm stoked to see the monkeys, you guys. I'm so excited. And we skip all the other exhibits, go straight to the monkey cage. And all of a sudden, my excitement level goes from like way up here to like way down here, because I find out there's this path that goes through the zoo. And it goes by all the different exhibits, and you kind of wind through the different exhibits. But this path only goes by one side of the monkey cage. And I don't know if they were like on strike that day or if they were protesting their work conditions or what, but the monkeys were not on that side of the cage that day. They were like way on the other side of the cage. So you could see them, but not really because they're far away. And I was like bummed out because I had this whole vision in my head about how I was going to meet the monkeys and like shake their tiny little hands through this cage. And we're going to like swap stories about our lives and stuff. And it was going to be this, really great friendship moment. But none of that happened because the monkeys weren't cooperating. But I'm a motivational speaker. I'm an optimist. I'm a positive thinker. So I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to let this ruin my day. I'm not going to let this ruin my day. I'm not going to let this ruin my zoo trip. I'm going to move on to another exhibit. Perhaps the gorillas, which are like monkeys, but they are much bigger. So even if they are far away, it looks like they're closer, right? Using my noggin. But my wife was like, no. She turns into a chainsaw when she gets mad. It's kind of weird. We're getting it checked out by a doctor. But my wife was like, no. I came to the zoo to see monkeys, and I am not leaving until I see some monkeys. Now, I don't know that she said that out loud. She didn't, but I know exactly that she was feeling that because what she did say out loud was this: "Hey, you, get over here." She's not pointing at me though. She's not pointing at like a zookeeper or someone who could like corral the monkeys over. No, my wife, the love of my life, my beautiful bride, is pointing and yelling at a monkey in public. And now, I don't know what possessed her to do that, but I should also be fair and say I don't know what possessed the monkey to listen to her, because he did. She was like, you, here. And he was like, me? Well, he didn't do that. But he did just come like right over. So now it's like us, cage, monkey. And I was like, this is kind of crazy. And that word crazy bounced around in my head for a while, and I was like, why does that sound so familiar? Oh, because everyone here thinks my wife is crazy. Because we were not the only people at the monkey cage that day, you guys. There was another family nearby, like a mom and a dad and a little girl. Mom and dad had learned this important lesson that they had not yet taught their daughter. See, when you have a baby, I've had 3 kids now, right? And when you have a baby, they don't really do anything, right? They don't like know any tricks or anything at all. They just eat and poop, that's it. And then you have to keep upgrading the software, right? And you have to teach them like, to mow the lawn and stuff eventually, and walk and talk and get a job and all that. And so that's what education is, that's what school is, that's what FFA is. You guys are learning, upgrading the software, learning how to do FFA stuff, right? Take care of animals and grow crops and all the stuff that you guys are learning. And so there was this one lesson that this mom and dad had learned that they had not taught to their daughter yet, but I'm going to teach it to you today. And that lesson is this. If a grown human being is willing to yell at a wild animal as though that animal can understand them, just get the heck out of there, okay? Don't draw attention to it. Don't ask questions. Don't be like, excuse me, man, what do you do? Like, that person is crazy and they could murder you, okay? You just need to evacuate the premises. So that's what the mom and dad were trying to do, because I could tell, because they were just like kind of so slowly slinking off to the side. They're like, yeah, nothing to see here. Let's go check out the giraffes. Every man for himself, right? But the little girl hadn't learned this lesson yet. And I could tell because she's standing there staring at my wife with this look on her face. It's like, oh my word, this woman can talk to animals. So I look at the little girl, look back over at my wife, and my wife still has not seen the little girl because my wife is locked into a pretty fierce staring contest with this monkey here. And I'm like, hey, babe, I hate to interrupt what's obviously a very important bonding ritual here. But look at this little girl. And it's like 10 seconds later, and the girl's still just like, who is this woman? Even the monkeys obey her. So my wife walks over, she leans down, puts her hand on the girl's shoulder, and I'm like, oh, great, awesome. She's going to straighten all this out, right? She's going to just say, hey, don't freak out. I can't really talk to you. It's just a coincidence or whatever. Because that's like what a responsible adult would do. That is not what my wife did. My wife leans in and she goes, hey, a lot of people won't tell you this because you're a little kid, but you paid money to get into the zoo today, so the monkeys have to do whatever you tell them. Then she just pats the girl on the shoulder and walks off. And I was like, what was that about? So I catch up to my wife at the elephant exhibit, where luckily she has not found it necessary to yell at the animals yet. And I approached her the way that you should always approach a person who is crazy, which is hands up to let them know, hey, I come in peace, okay? I have no weapons here. I squatted down because I'm taller than my wife. I didn't want her to be intimidated by that. So no sudden motions, okay? No loud noises. And I was just like, hey, sugar. Hey, Sugar Frosted Flakes. We have these like cereal nicknames for each other. She calls me Captain Crunch. That's not true. Anyways, it's like, hey, honey, bunches of oats. What was that about? She was like, what? And I was like, that thing back there? She's like, oh, that thing back there with the kid? And I was like, yeah, like I could possibly be talking about anything else right now. That thing where you lied to some kid that you don't know and then you just left. And she's like, oh yeah, I forgot to tell you this. This probably would have been important information for you to have before you decide to spend the rest of your life with me, but now you got a ring on it, so you're locked in, buddy. She said, I love to lie to little kids. And I was like, really? And she goes, yeah, they will believe anything that you tell them. Learned a lot about my wife that day. Now, if you tell somebody something is not true and you know it's not true, that makes you a liar. Good class. If you tell somebody something's not true and you don't know it's not true, that makes you an idiot. That's right. Some of you are like, story of my life, bro. My friend is an idiot. He posted this thing on Facebook a while back, and it was a quote from Benjamin Franklin. And then beneath that quote, he wrote, "Benjamin Franklin was the best president this country ever had." Some of you guys got that, and some of you didn't, all right? I'm just saying, you should probably look it up if you didn't get it, because there's going to come up on a test at some point that dude was never the president of this country. Some kid in the back's like, oh, writing this down. Okay, Benjamin Franklin, not actually the president. So if you say something that's not true and you know it's not true, you're a liar. If you don't know it's not true, you're an idiot. But there's this third area, this gray area, this sort of middle ground where you say something you know is technically not true. Like if you evaluate on a strictly technical, literal, word-for-word level, it's not true. But there's this other thing you're trying to communicate that is true or is right or is good. You're just using a weird way of doing that, like a metaphor or a simile or an object lesson or a parable or a story of some kind. And the story didn't actually happen. It's not true in that sense, but it has a good moral to it. It has a good point to it. And the problem is when you start mixing things that are true with things that are false, you get into this kind of soupy gray area and people can get misled. People can get hurt, right? And as a motivational speaker, I have to be really careful about this because there's all these like motivational sayings that are out there that sound really great and they're designed to get you excited about life. They're just not actually true. Like how many of you guys have ever heard the phrase, if you can dream it, you can do it? If you can dream it, you can do it, right? It's all over Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, Pinstaface, right? All these different places. It's a very painful social network where you pin things to your face. It hasn't taken off. And it says, if you can dream it, you can do it. And then underneath it says Walt Disney. It's a quote from Walt Disney. Turns out, though, Walt Disney was full of it because there's lots of things you can dream that you can't do. Anybody ever dream they could fly? Yeah, don't try it. If I could dream it, I could do it. Some kid in the balcony. No! You're going to break something, all right? Either your arm or whoever you land on. Something is getting broken. I dreamed that I could fly. I dreamed that I could stop bullets with my mind, just like, oh, no, thank you. I dreamed that I could breathe underwater, and I know some of you are like, this guy's got some superhero thing. He needs to get worked out. That's not the point. The point is, I dreamed all that stuff. You know what would happen if I tried to do any of it? I would die. Yeah, here's how it would go down. I'd be staying at a fancy hotel, right? Like the one I am staying at. We chase the bad guys up onto the roof, bust out onto the roof, and I'd be like, end of the line, fools, nowhere to run, right? Because you can talk like that when you have superpowers. And the main bad guy would pull out a gun and be like, well, guess what? I've got a gun. I'd be like, well, guess what? I can stop bullets with my mind. He'd be like, poof, and I'd be like, whoa, maybe not. So now I'm bleeding all over the place, and I got a hole in a brand new shirt. That's like 2 strikes right there. Not a good way to start the day. But I'm like, you know what? I don't know what's going on right now. Maybe I probably forgot to pay my membership in the Stopping Bullets with Your Mind Club. It's cool. I'll cut them a check when I get home. But in the meantime, I can fix this. I'm going to fly to a hospital, okay? Get this all taken care of. Come back and whoop this fool. So I jump off the edge of the building, only to find I've way overestimated my ability to fly, you guys. I'm falling, splash. I land in the hotel pool. I know you're like, it's kind of convenient there was a pool there. Well, it's my story. I can do whatever I want. So I land in the pool, probably broken some bones in the fall, probably got some pretty severe internal injuries at this point, but I'm like, you know what, this is actually going to be great because the bad guys, they're going to look over the edge of the building, see me land at the bottom of the pool, think that I'm dead because they don't realize I can breathe underwater. And then I would drown. In conclusion, that's what happens when you follow your dreams. Thank you, guys. No, I'm just kidding. Wouldn't that be the worst end to a motivational speech ever? Oh, man, that's my favorite part. Obviously, when we say if you can dream it, you can do it, we don't mean, hey, go get yourself murdered at the bottom of a pool somewhere. If people are trying to encourage you to do that thing, you should probably report those people. But what we mean is, hey, if you don't settle for low dreams, don't settle for easy dreams, don't settle for low goals in life. If your dreams are possible within the laws of physics, and in your case, the laws of New York, then don't hesitate to go after those things. But that's not what if you can dream it, you can do it technically means. And yet, despite the fact if you can dream it, you can do it, could get you murdered at the bottom of a pool somewhere, I don't think that's the most dangerous thing you've been told your whole life. See, I think the most dangerous thing you've been told is much more subtle, and you've been told it much more often. And it's this: if you make good choices, your success is guaranteed. If you make good choices, your success is guaranteed. Make good choices, make good choices, make good choices. You've heard it your whole life from people like me, people who want the best. They mean well for you. They want your life to be great, and they say, make good choices, man. Make good choices, young man, young lady, right? Make good choices. And you say, why? Why should I make good choices? And they say this. Well, it's a good question. The promise, the guarantee, the carrot at the end of the stick is this: if you make good choices, your life will be wonderful. Everything will roll out before you. There will be no pain or difficulty or hardship because you made all the right choices, right? People point to other people's lives and say, hey, look at his life. See how it's bad? It's because he made that choice. Look at her life. It's great because she made that choice. And it sounds so great, right? Everything will be wonderful. It's just not true. Now, I'm all for making good choices. I think they're called good choices for a reason. But I can tell you this: there are a lot of things in your life that are outside of the realm of your control, things that you don't get a choice in, that can grab your success and just rip it out from under you, right? See, life can just sucker punch you in the gut regardless of the choices that you've made. You can make all the right choices and do all the right things, you can still lose your job because of a bad economy or a bad deal or because somebody else made a bad choice. In the last 10 or 15 years, the economy's kind of done some roller coaster turns, and there's been these industries that everyone thought, these industries will never go away, and overnight, gone, right? There's been these jobs that people for years said, work hard and you can get that job. That's a secure, steady job, and then gone. And that's just not a story I heard or some statistic I read or some news story or something that happened to my dad. My dad worked 35 years at the same company. Classic American dream story. Started his way at the bottom, worked his way up to the top, was one of the top guys running this whole factory with hundreds and hundreds of employees. And then one day his boss came in and said, hey, let's look at the numbers. So they start looking at the numbers and they go, man, you guys are actually ahead of everything that we've asked you to do. We set all these goals for you to hit and you guys have exceeded every single one. My dad's like, whoa, thanks, we worked really hard at that. And then the guy said, well, here's the other thing, is that we've got factories all over the world, and you guys are actually one of the top performing divisions. Like, you guys are on track, you're on point, you're doing everything right. My dad's like, great, well, we work really hard, and thank you, we're so proud of that. The guy said, okay, cool, great, awesome, one more thing, you're all fired. My dad's like, whoa, that sounds different than where I thought this conversation was going. And the guy said, well, here's the deal. 5 years ago, 1,000 miles away, a guy that you've never met signed this piece of paper that seemed like a really good idea at the time. It was just like sophisticated legal maneuver. They were going to sell the land underneath the factory, but they were going to keep the factory, and it was going to save them all this millions of dollars, and it was going to be the smartest thing. And then right after they signed that piece of paper, the whole economy just tanked, flipped over on its head. Turns out that was a really bad piece of paper to sign. It was exactly the wrong move to make in that situation. So my dad and his coworkers and employees and his bosses and then hundreds and hundreds of people, some of which my dad had worked with for longer than any of you guys have been alive. Decades. He knew their kids, he knew their grandkids, and now he had to go and say, hey guys, sorry, we're closing it down. Because despite how great they were doing, despite all that, because this one piece of paper, they couldn't keep the place open. Do you think my dad made a choice in that situation? Do you think anybody there made a choice? No. So you can make all the right choices and do all the right things, and you can still lose your job. You can make all the right choices and do all the right things, and you can lose your stuff. I live in Missouri, which is right in the middle of what's called Tornado Alley. And it seems like every couple years, this is like the part of the country where tornadoes just come up. It's around this time of the year in the spring. Every couple years, someplace I know is just devastated. A couple years ago, I was in Delaware giving a speech, and I got back to my hotel room, and I was trying to call my wife, and she sent me a text and said, hey, I can't talk. I just got the baby to sleep. Can you get on Facebook? I've got the computer here so I can multitask, hold the baby, and chat, right? And I was like, awesome. So I get on Facebook, and I'm not really even paying attention to Facebook. I'm just like on the chat thing. But then all of a sudden, this picture pops up, and I'm like, whoa, what is that? So I click on it. And the picture right before this was a picture kind of like this. It was an auditorium. It was a little bit smaller. It was in a high school. The curtains were drawn. Lights were up on the stage. Nobody was on the stage. Lights were down where you guys are, and it was taken from the perspective of you in the audience. You could tell something was about to start, but it hadn't started yet. And the caption below told the story. It was this lady I know, and her daughter was in a play in high school. And at this particular high school, it wasn't like a popular thing to be in the play, and so she thought, you know what, nobody's going to come to this. Like, we worked so hard, and she was bummed out because she thought it's going to be an empty house, and she was just kind of bummed. And her mom was like, actually, I'm sorry, but we can't make it either. And her daughter's like, oh, it's fine, whatever, it's just one more person who can't make it. But in fact, in reality, what her mom had done was she was definitely going to be there, and she was going to get everybody that she knew to come, right? And so her mom's like calling in favors, like she's calling people like, hey, do you want to come to this play? And they're like, who are you? And she's like, I met you at Walmart in 1997, right? And she's like kidnapping people off the street and throwing them in, like anything she can do to pack out this auditorium. And this was her last-ditch effort. She said, hey, I haven't been able to talk about this on Facebook up until now because my daughter would see it. But right now, the play's about to start, and she's backstage and doesn't have her phone, so please, if you can make it, make it. Right? Just one of those things that your mom does that like on the outside you're kind of like embarrassed by it, but on the inside you secretly love it, right? Like on the outside you're like, Mom, but on the inside you're like, oh, Mom, right? Mom of the year kind of stuff. The very next picture, the one that I'd originally clicked on, was a picture of this lady's house, or what was left of it. See, while she was at that play, a tornado had come and just demolished her entire neighborhood. So all that was left of her house was one wall that was about this tall, and then it sloped down to about there, and sloped down to about there. Enough bricks that you could probably carry them in your arms. And in the background, you could see the outline of the foundation of her house and a couple of boards broken off at odd angles, and that was it. Everything else she had was gone. Now, do you think she made a choice about that? Do you think there was like a tornado salesman that came through town? It's like, hey, man, I can get you a good deal on a tornado. We'll ruin all your stuff, and it'll be awesome. She's like, this sounds too good to be true. No. So you can make all the right choices and do all the right things and lose your job. You can lose your stuff. You can even lose your own health. I know people, you know people probably, if you don't, then you'll know them very soon, who have made all the right choices, who've done all the right things, and the doctor says, hey, sit down. I've got some news. A couple years ago, it was my friend Allie. Allie was this lady who was just one of the greatest people I've ever met, just like so kind, so wonderful, so loving. And like Allie was one of the first people that ever gave me a chance as like a leader and didn't see me as just like a problem. Allie hired me to work at this summer camp, and I thought, man, I was always the annoying kid that they're like, Kyle, shut up for 2 seconds, right? And that was my job, and now I talk for a living, so ha-ha, suckers. But I was always that kid, and a lot of people saw me as a problem, and Allie said, hey, you know what, I actually think you're a leader. I think you have a lot of good things to say. I just think you need to harness that energy a little bit. And she said, maybe you can come work at this summer camp. So I started working at the summer camp, and Allie let me be a junior counselor and volunteer and like all this kind of stuff. And then she started paying me, and then I was a counselor. And then Allie was just one of the most giving people I've ever known. Like, Allie was always poor because she worked at this like nonprofit youth camp for one thing. She wasn't making like big bucks. But then like kids would come to this youth camp and she'd start hearing their stories, and they'd come from a pretty rough background or something, and she'd be like, man, this kid, like nobody in their situation, nobody in their home like cares about them or loves them, like they're in a dangerous, bad place. And she'd go, it would be really good for them if they could be at this camp a little bit longer, where people care about them and value them and like will uplift them, and where they're loved and cared for. But there weren't any scholarships left, and there was nobody that could pay for it, and their parents couldn't pay for it or wouldn't pay for it. And so Allie would just go, fine, I'll write the check. That's who Allie was. And then Allie one day walks into the doctor's, and the doctor says, hey, it's cancer, stage 4. And luckily, Allie is still with us today, but she's fighting for the last like 7 or 8 years of her life. She had to quit her job. Her doctor said, you can't do this anymore. Your body's not going to be able to handle all of your work and this. You just need to focus on your health. And so she spent all of the last 7 or 8 years just fighting this disease and helping other people fight this disease that she didn't ask for, that she didn't choose. Now, are there choices you can make to get cancer? Sure, but she didn't make any of those, right? Allie didn't smoke. Allie didn't go tanning. Allie didn't do like any of that kind of stuff. Allie lived a pretty regular, healthy life. But sometimes these things come for you, so you can make all the right choices and do all the right things, and life can just go. And the flip side is even worse, because you say if you make good choices, you'll be a success, but if you make bad choices, you'll be what? A failure, right? That's not true either. Turn on TV for like 5 seconds, you'll see someone who's made horrible, horrible choices with their life, and their life is way better than yours. Have you ever noticed that? You ever watch TV for like 5 minutes, and you're like, how is this person still alive? Look at the horrible life choices they're making, but they have so much more money than you will ever have in your life. There's some people, it seems like the more bad choices they rack up, the better their life gets. There's a word for these people. It's Kardashians, right? And you're like, that's not fair. Because so many times we look at our own lives and we're struggling. There are people in this room that you would love to be more involved in FFA. You'd love to be more involved in making a difference on your campus. But it was a struggle for you guys just to come to this financially. There are some of you guys that you're already working towards this summer looking for jobs. Not so you can buy a car. Not so you can save up for college or take your boyfriend or girlfriend out. Just so you can help your parents meet the rent. Just so you can keep the lights on. There are people in this room, statistically, that's got to be true. That's your situation. You're making all the right choices. You're doing all the right things, and it's just life has just dealt you a bad hand for now. And it's struggle. And you look at that and you go, it's not fair. You're 100% right, my friend. It is not fair. And life is often not fair. And listen, I want you to hear me say this. If you hear nothing else, don't think that my message is, hey, go be an idiot. Maybe you'll get a TV show. That's not what I'm saying. My message is this. Perhaps success, in the way that we typically define it in terms of houses, cars, money, power, fame, wealth, maybe it's not really worth all that much. Maybe it's not everything that we think it is, because I can tell you this, you can get to the end of your life, you can have all of that, and still have nothing to show for your life. Nobody that loves you, nobody that cares for you, nobody that would be there for you if you were to have that stuff taken away. You're just a guy or a girl with a lot of money, and the world will forget you the moment you're gone. If that's success, I'm not interested, right? Because when people are on their deathbed, they don't want to talk about how much money they had. They don't want to talk about their possessions. They don't want to talk about any of that stuff. You'll never meet somebody on their deathbed who's like, hey, bring in my photo albums. And they're like, oh, like your family and your vacations and stuff? They're like, no, I want the pictures of my jet ski. Bring it in. I want to look at that one more time. Grandpa, you're 95 years old, right? You'll never meet somebody on their deathbed and their doctor comes in and says, hey, we've done all we can do. We're kind of at the end here. And the guy goes, okay, bring in my bank statements and lay them over me. Like a blanket of love. I need those numbers close to me. Nobody says that, and yet that's how we spend our lives, chasing the next dollar, chasing the next paycheck, chasing how can I upgrade this or that, right? How can I make my name a little bit more important to the world today than it was yesterday? But that doesn't matter. At the end of our lives, there are 3 things that matter. The people that we loved, the people that loved us, and the adventures that we went on with those people. I'll say it again. The people that we loved, the people that loved us, and the adventures we went on with those people. And if you boil all those 3 things down into one thing, it's stories. Stories are what matter. When people are on their deathbed, they want to tell stories. They want to talk about the times when they were up against it and nobody thought that they would make it, and they made it. They want to talk about the times when they were down by 10 with like 4 seconds to go in the state championship game and the crowd gave up. They had already started walking out. They thought this game is over, but they rallied with their crew and they pulled it off. They want to talk about the time when they had some idea about how they could make their FFA chapter better or make their school better or make their community better, and everyone just laughed and said, oh, good luck, that'll never work here. And they said, forget you, man, and they made it happen anyways. They want to talk about their stories. So my question is, why do we spend so much time talking about success and all this stuff that ultimately doesn't matter, and so little time talking about making a difference through stories that can change the world? I think there's 3 reasons, right? 3 reasons we don't talk about this stuff. Reason number 1 is because it's hard. It has to be customized to you, right? We've got this imprint thing, right? We've got people putting their hands in these trays, right? Guess what? Every single one of those is going to be different. Your imprint is going to be different because your hand is different, right? Some of you guys have extra fingers or no fingers or whatever, right? Your hand is going to be different than everybody else's. Some of you have big, giant hands. Some of you have little, tiny hands like Donald Trump, right? Some of you guys have this stuff going on. Everyone's imprint's going to be different, and everyone's story is going to be different too. Everyone in this room, your story is going to be different. You have strengths, you have weaknesses, you have likes, you have dislikes. You are wired differently. And so the question of life isn't how much money can you make. It's can you find the place where your puzzle piece just clicks, man? Can you find the place where your success isn't as important as, do I find the place where I just click? Where the things that I'm good at, the things that I'm bad at, where that just fits with what the world needs, right? Can you find that stuff? And the truth is, it's difficult because you're going to have to ask yourself a lot of questions about who you are. See, success is this thing that can be mass-produced because it's just a checklist. Just do this, do this, do this, do this, do this. Don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. It's all about make this much money, get this kind of job, this kind of car, walk this way, talk this way, live in this kind of neighborhood, send your kids to this kind of school, right? Like that's success. But some of you guys go, man, that's great, and I could do that. But what I really want to do is like go drill water wells in Africa. What I really want to do is go be a teacher in some inner city school where they've never had a teacher or some kid has never even had an adult tell them, hey, I care about you. You don't get to throw your life away, right? But you're like, man, that's not going to make me the money, the cars, the houses. It's going to be costly. It's going to be dangerous. And we're torn between these things. See, the truth is you are wired differently than the person on your left. You're wired differently than the person on your right. You're wired differently than the advisor who brought you here, than the parents who let you come, right? You're wired differently than that boyfriend or girlfriend. You're like holding their hand under the seat right now, and you're like, oh my gosh. I know we've only been dating for like 12 minutes, but I think this is the one. Third one this week, but I feel really good about this one. This feels different. See, the fact of the matter is you're wired differently, so the question of life is, what's my story? What's your story? What's your story going to be? Guys, and I want you to think big. I want you to think, how do I make a difference over the next 30 years? Right? Some of you seniors, you're starting to look at college, a career, you're starting to plan it out. It's great to think long term. It's great to think, what's my legacy, right? We talked about that earlier. But it's also great to think, 30 years is great. What about 30 weeks? How are you going to make a difference as you wind down this school year, right? We don't have a lot of time left here, right? This is your freshman, sophomore, junior, senior year. You get to do this one time. Some of you 2 times, right? How are you going to make a difference now? How are you going to use this summer to make a difference? How are you going to start strong next year? It's great to think 30 years. What about 30 weeks? What about 30 days? As you finish out this school year, how are you going to finish strong? How are you going to make an impact while you can? There's this temptation that comes. And listen, I've been in high school, right? I've been to school. I know what it's like. I know May comes, you just start letting off the gas, right? You start taking it easy in terms of academics, in terms of caring, in terms of reaching out to the people around you. It's just kind of like you're just coasting through the summer. Don't coast. How are you going to make a difference over the next 30 days? It's great to think 30 years, great to think 30 weeks, great to think 30 days. What about over the next 30 hours? How are you going to take what you learn here and actually do something with it? And guys, this convention, people are coming from all over New York to meet and talk about what you guys are doing. And yes, there will be competitions and there will be different things like that, but ultimately, this is an opportunity for you guys to go, hey, you know what? We faced that at our school. You guys are dealing with this. I heard you talking about this. We faced that. Here's how we did that. And you go, oh, cool. Hey, I heard you guys are dealing with this. Here's how you guys can start swapping ideas. And all of a sudden, stuff that worked in one place starts spreading around the country. How are you going to start taking advantage of the next 30 hours? Guys, if we come here, and listen, I flew here from Missouri. I've got kids at home. I've got a wife. I want to be there, but I came here because I thought, man, I can make an impact, and they can impact all the state, and they can impact all the country, right? But if I flew here, if I came here and we just laugh at my wife and Chewbacca and all these story of my life, bro, and all this kind of stuff, and then we walk out of here and we go, man, that was fun. That was funny. And nothing changes? What a waste of my time. What a waste of your time. So how are you going to make a difference now? How are you going to take action now? See, it's great to think 30 years, but what about 30 minutes, right? What about 30 hours? What about 30 days, right? It's great to think I want to change the world, but so many times we focus on the world and we don't focus on our own world. I meet kids and they go, man, I want to change the world. And I go, okay, what are you doing in your neighborhood? They're like, no, not my neighborhood, dude, the world. I'm like, okay, what about your house? No, not my house, the world. What about your family? What about your school? Not my family, dude, you're not getting it, not my school. I want to change the world. I go, I don't know if you know this, my friend, but your world, your family, your school, your house, your community, they're all in the world. Same world we're dealing with here. Unless you're taking a rocket ship from somewhere else every day, right? That is the world we have. And see, we have this idea that the world changes top down. There's some leader, some world person or some celebrity gets up and says, hey, this is the way it is now. Here's what we're all going to do. And everyone just goes, okay, I'll do that. No, that's not how it works. See, the world changes bottom up. The world changes when you make a difference for the person beside you. And then when you guys start saying, hey, you know what, this behavior that's happening at our school, this bullying or this disrespect for teachers or this just general apathy, that's not cool. We're not going to do that anymore, right? We're going to change it. And so you and one or two other people change, and then 3 or 4 people, and then it's a lunch table, and then it's a class, and then it's a freshman, sophomore, junior, senior class, and then it's all of a sudden a school, and then it's a community, then it's a neighborhood, then it's a state. And then when people around the world are going, hey, have you heard about, or people around the country are starting to say, have you heard about those New York FFA kids? What is going on up there? They're nuts. Then we can start talking about the world. See, it's great to think, I want to change the world, but change your world, right? 30 years, awesome. What are you going to do now? See, that's why we don't talk about this stuff. It's hard, and it puts a lot of weight on you. Second reason we don't talk about this is because if you're going to live a better story, you're going to have to make sacrifices. There's going to be things you have to say no to. If you ever watch TV, you'll notice that people on TV, they never eat, they never sleep, they never go to the bathroom, they never file their taxes, or find a parking spot, or have to wait in line. Any of the stuff that's boring and takes up our life, they cut that out of the story because the story only has 20 minutes. 30 minutes slot, 10 minutes commercials, 20 minutes to tell this story, and they go, I don't have enough time to tell a good story in 20 minutes if you have to include all the boring stuff that happens in everyday life. I've waited in line at Chipotle for 20 minutes before. It was totally worth it, but it would make a boring TV show. And so what they do is they say, this is the goal, this is the story, and anything that doesn't get us there in 20 minutes has to go. What if we lived our lives like that? What if we said, hey, this is the story I'm trying to tell, this is the impact I'm trying to make, this is how I feel I'm wired, this is the impact I feel like I can make best in the world. Anything that doesn't get me there has to go. Man, and I'm not saying you should avoid eating and sleeping and going to the bathroom. That's going to cause some health issues down the road. But I do think, what if you started saying no to some more things? And it's not just the things that you think I'm talking about. I'm a motivational speaker, so you're like, oh, he's going to tell us to say no to drugs and say no to drinking and driving and all that kind of, yeah, say no to those things. But you've heard about that, right? It's weird to me, like when I meet people on a plane and they go, what do you do? And I say, I'm a motivational speaker. They go, oh, you like tell kids not to do drugs? I'm like, yeah, well, I guess. I mean, if a kid ever came up to me and was like, hey, man, I'm thinking about doing some drugs. I'd be like, it sounds like you may have already been doing some drugs. No, don't do that, though. It's bad news. Bad things will happen to you. Google it, right? But you guys have been warned about drugs. You've been warned about alcohol. You've been warned about drinking and driving and texting and driving and really doing anything else while you're driving. Just drive, okay? You've been warned about all the stuff that can take your life, but you haven't been warned about the stuff that'll just waste your life. See, I mentioned earlier, nobody lays on their deathbed and says, bring in my bank statements. And we all laughed, right? But you know what else nobody lays on their deathbed and says? Hey, let's check out those new Snapchat filters. Can make my face look like a dog. That's what life is about, right? Nobody lays on their deathbed and says, I just wish I would have Facebooked more, you know? If I had one more day on this earth, I would take some quizzes to see what kind of Game of Thrones character I am. Which Frozen princess am I really, you know? Because that's what life is. Nobody lays on their deathbed surrounded by friends and family, and they're telling these emotional stories, and they're like, guys, stop, this is too powerful, I gotta tweet this. Dying, LOL. Hashtag deathbed. Send. That's horrible. But that's how we spend so much of our lives. See, it's great to sacrifice all those things. It's great to say no to those things, but what are you going to say yes to, right? What are you going to focus your life on to the point where you go, you know, I don't need to worry about saying no to drugs because drugs just aren't appealing to me at all because I've got this vision so mapped out in my head. I don't need to worry about this. I don't need to worry about that because I know my purpose, and I'm going to run towards that. And anything that doesn't get me there has to go, right? What is that for you? What story are you going to tell? What sacrifice are you going to make to get there? And last but not least, are you willing to make? Are you willing to face up to the pain? Are you willing to face up to the pain that it will take to live a good story? Because it's going to take some pain. I don't know if you know this or not, but stories are about characters overcoming pain, overcoming difficulty, overcoming conflict, and that's what makes a good story. I don't even know what your favorite movie, TV show, book is, but I guarantee you if it's any good, it's about that. It's about a character or a group of characters facing up some difficulty, some conflict, some pain, and overcoming that. If your favorite movie is a football movie, I don't need to know which movie it is because they're all pretty much the same. It's always about this tiny little Texas team, right? I don't know why they're always from Texas. I don't make the rules, right? And they're fighting. They've got like a new coach in town, but the old coach is still around. There's like some loyalty issues there, and they're running the wrong passes, and they're running the wrong plays. They're dropping passes. Quarterback and the running back are fighting over the same cheerleader girlfriend, right? So there's like some tension there, but it doesn't even matter because on the opening play of their homecoming game against their big rival, quarterback takes a snap, drops back to throw the pass. Lightning strikes. He just explodes. The quarterback's gone now. They have to squeegee the quarterback off the field. It's pretty gross. That's how every football movie starts, more or less. And every football movie ends with this tiny little Texas team somehow winning the Super Bowl, even though they're not technically old enough to be in the league. If your favorite movie is a romantic comedy, it's about two people who cannot be together for most of that movie, like 95%, right? Maybe there's distance involved. Maybe one of them's married to somebody else or engaged to somebody else. Maybe they're like engaged to somebody they don't love and it's a family thing, or maybe their family doesn't approve, or maybe they hate each other. Who knows? There's all these reasons why people can't be together for 95% of the movie. And then in the last 5 seconds, this whole thing happens and they realize, oh my gosh, I loved you all along. And they're always running towards each other. I don't know, people can't fall in love at a moderate stroll, So I love you so much. And the other guy's like, I love you too. It's always in an airport too. I don't know why. Somebody's like, excuse me, sorry, I got to get to my flight here. Sorry, excuse me. Right? And they're just like, and your boyfriend's sitting next to you and he's like, I'm not crying. I told myself I wouldn't cry. I was just cutting some onions earlier and still getting over it. That's every story. See, stories are about conflict, about pain. And so many times I meet students, they go, man, I want to make a difference. I want to make an impact. I want to live a better story. I want to leave an imprint. But I've got this pain. I've got this thing that disqualifies me. I said, that doesn't disqualify you. That qualifies you. Because think about it, a football movie. Imagine this. It's a football movie. It's about this football team. They're awesome. And that's the whole movie. They're just awesome. They just win all their games and then the movie's over. You would hate that team 5 minutes in. We are wired to root for the underdogs, right? See, here's the thing. We love romantic comedies because we love watching people who are not in love. We love watching them fall in love. You know what we don't like watching? People just being in love, right? We don't want to watch that airport scene forever of just people like, I love you too. You see that in the hallways in high school enough, right? Like, excuse me, I need to get to my locker, please. Squeegee the slobber off. Okay, combination. See, that's the thing. We're wired as humans to root for the underdog. So when you go, man, my life, I've got this, and it seems like everything is up against me, I go, well, man, it's going to be a heck of a good story then. It's a heck of an opportunity that you have. We are wired as human beings to root for the underdog. So when you see yourself as the underdog, I see you as the potential champion of a good story. Somebody who has the opportunity to make a huge imprint. And not just for you, but for other people to see. That's why I love what you guys have done in honoring these past officers and past members and stuff, bringing these people up on the stage and going, hey, you know what? FFA isn't just this thing that you do for 10 minutes when you're in high school and then you forget about it. This is something, people are involved for decades. I love honoring that, right? Because those are people that faced challenges and difficulties. And you're able to go, hey, you know what? My life might not be perfect, but neither was theirs. And can you be that person up here on the stage down the road? And people would go, man, I don't think I could ever do this. And they go, well, she did it. Well, he did it. They go, maybe I can do it. So what story are you going to tell? What sacrifices are you going to make to get there? And are you willing to face up to the pain that it's going to take to live a better story? And I wonder, what if you did? I wonder what if all of us did. I wonder if for the next 20 years we said, okay, no more focusing on money and success and power and fame and all that kind of success. Like, what if we just focused on true success, which is living good stories? What if we focused on making an impact in our communities? What if we focused on ending bullying at our school? What if we focused on increasing enrollment in our FFA chapter, right? What if we focused on building better communities? What if we just focused on living better stories? And I wonder, then for the next 20 years, we all go out on our different ways, and some of you guys are going to stay in New York, some of you guys are going to spread to the corners of the earth, and I wonder what if we came back in 20 years? And we took this microphone and passed it around and we said, hey, how'd it go? What was it like? What sacrifices did you make? What stories did you live? What did you come up against? I wonder what would come out of a room just this size, right? I wonder what kind of inventions could be invented. I wonder what kind of diseases could be cured. I wonder what kind of beautiful pieces of art and science and theater and dance and music could be written. I wonder what kind of businesses could be started that could revolutionize entire industries. I wonder what kind of agricultural innovations could be made. I wonder what kind of charities could be founded that could give somebody an opportunity who never would have had an opportunity before. I wonder what could come out of a room just this size if each and every one of us decided to live the best story that we possibly could. Guys, I'm all out of time. You've been a fantastic audience. Thank you so much. Give yourselves a round of applause.
Kyle, thank you so much for sharing such a relatable message to our members. Let's hear it for Kyle Scheel. The Hollywood Walk of Fame is about to get a little bigger as we add this group of people to the list of celebrities. Ladies and gentlemen, we have the final results for CDEs. As a reminder, we will read results and they will be posted on the screens. If you place in the top 10 individuals or top 3 teams, we will present plaques and medallions at the conclusion of session on stage. We'll have time for formal photos then. The results are, we have the results for Ag Sales, Agri-Science Fair, Forestry, Maple, Tool ID, Chapter Meeting, Junior Creed, Senior Creed, Discussion Meet, and Job Interview.
Hi guys, so we are so excited to announce the CDE results, so if you guys could just stay seated while we're doing this, and we'll be done as soon as the CDE results are done.
In the area Ag Sales, individual placings are, in 10th place, Sophia Rader from Sherman No. 2. 9th place, Dorothy Roberts from VVS. 8th place, Zachary Filey from VVS. 7th place, Lindsay Peters from VVS. 6th place, Carla Bunny from John Bound No. 1. 5th place, Haley Lugler from VVS. 4th place, Chris Scheifert from John Bound No. 2. 3rd place, Salinas Yuri from John Bound No. 2. 2nd place, Michelle Zurita from John Bound No. 2. And your state winner in Ag Sales is Raphael Vieira from John Bound No. 2. Your top 3 teams are, in 3rd place, John Bound No. 1. 2nd place, VVS. And your state winning Ag Sales team is John Bound No. 2.
In the area of Agri-Science Social Systems, Division 4, in 1st place, Kelly Hatton and Victoria Vidal from John Bound. In the area of Agri-Science Power Structure Division 2, in 2nd place, Samuel Sternbach, John Bound. And your state winner is Lucian DeKeel from Greenwich. In the area of Agri-Science Plant Systems, Division 1, in 1st place, Anna Bicka from South Jefferson. In the area of Agri-Science Plant Systems, Division 2, in 2nd place, Johanna Cole, John Bound. And your state winner is Isa Judd, John Bound. In the area of Agri-Science Animal Systems, Division 4, in 1st place, Stacy Morales and Alexis Blanchard from John Bound.
In the area of Forestry, individual placings are 10th place, Brandon Buchanan, GST BOCES Team No. 2. 9th place, Matthew Agard, WSWHE Team A. 8th place, Jonathan Stark, WSWHE Team A. 7th place, Andrew Hanneberg from WSWHE Team A. 6th place, Sean McCrennan, WSWHE Team B. 5th place, Jason Ashline, WSWHE Team A. 4th place, Miranda Stansfield, GST BOCES Team No. 1. 3rd place, Ken Cornog, WSWHE Team B. 2nd place, George Trilson, GST BOCES Team No. 1. And your state forestry winner is Nathan Thomas, WSWHE Team B. And your top 3 teams are, in 3rd place, GST BOCES Team No. 1. 2nd place, WSWHE Team A. And your state winning forestry team is WSWHE Team B.
In the area of Maple, individual placings are 10th place, Nolan Witten, Unadilla Valley. 9th place, Dakota Dezen, Chattagouay Team A. And 8th place, Kent Stark, Otselic Valley. 7th place, Zach Filey, VVS. 6th place, Dalton Gilmore, Northern Adirondack Team B. Fifth place, Tyler Bowman, Governor Central. Fourth place, Jonathan Perry, VVS. Third place, Justin Spohr, Northern Adirondack, Team B. Second place, Nathaniel Moore, Scenic Valley. And your state winner for Maple is Emily Fairbarn from Delaware Academy Central. Your top 3 teams are, in third place, Governor Central. In second place, Delaware Academy Central School. And your state-winning Maple team is at Scenic Valley.
In the area of junior tool identification, individual placings are 10th place, Creed Ascent at Scenic Valley. 9th place, Tristan Stone, Japster-Truesburg. 8th place, Cameron Dunlap, Cuba Rushford. 7th place, Aaron French, VVS. 6th place, Quincy Cornell, Jasper-Truesburg. 5th place, Justin Commodore, Cuba Rushford. 4th place, Logan Sokol, Chattagay. 3rd place, Zach Eddy, Cuba Rushford. 2nd place, Mark Kelly Jr., Cuba Rushford. And your state winner for Tool ID is Austin LeBron, Jasper-Truesburg. And your top 3 teams are, in third place, VVS. 2nd place, Jasper-Truesburg. And your state-winning Tool ID team is Cuba Rushford.
In the area of chapter meeting, your top 3 teams are, in third place team, Pioneer, Team Gold. In second place, Jasper-Truesburg. And your state-winning chapter meeting team is South Jefferson.
In the area junior creed speaking, in third place, Alexis Bentley, Albion. In second place, Danielle Herrick, Pioneer. And your state junior creed winner is Michaela Williams from Madison.
In the area of senior creed speaking, in third place, Rebecca Myers, Genesee Valley. In second place, Frankie Fonda, Fultonville. And your state senior creed winner is Danielle Thomas from Lowville.
In the area of discussion meet, in third place, Matthew Curry, Tully. In second place, Haley Demonaz, Stockbridge Valley. And your state discussion meet winner is Susanna Van Gelder, Granville.
In the area of job interview, in third place, Vivian Rivers, Albion. In second place, Catherine Killenback, South Jefferson. And your state winner for job interview is Brian Boyes from Tri-Valley. Congratulations to all our CD participants and winners today. As a reminder, all winners announced today can come to the stage after the session to receive your award, and all first place winners will be recognized in the Parade of Champions tomorrow. Advisors also can pick up CDE feedback at the front of the stage after session. Teachers, please remember to come up to the table stage to get your CDE packets and awards from previous sessions.
Congratulations to all of our winners. Before we conclude, we have a few additional announcements regarding tonight's and tomorrow's activities, so please listen carefully. Tonight, over 850 of us will be headed to Wonderworks. Please remember that you will be representing New York FFA, your chapter, and your community as you explore this event. For people staying in one of the downtown hotels, there will be shuttles for you leaving from the Civic Center that will take you there and drop you back off at your hotel. Those not staying downtown will be able to take their own transportation and park at the mall. From there, you can return to your hotels for the evening. Tomorrow's session begins at 9 a.m. Pre-session will start at 8 a.m. Special performance and all CDE first place winners or others featured on stage should be in assigned seats no later than 8:45 to ensure you will be able to be featured on stage. CDE winners, please remember to bring your plaques and medallions with you to this session. We are holding a special Empire Degree recognition tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. in the ballroom of the Civic Center. Please be on time for this. Check the announcements on the screen and in your schedule to make sure you are prepared.
Tonight, we saw winners create their imprints as they made lasting legacies on this association. Imprint is using the power to motivate others, the experiences we've had, our perspectives, the things that we are passionate about, the presence we have, and our accomplishments becoming legacies. Imprint is New York FFA!
Madam Secretary, do you have a record of any further business which should be transacted?
I have none, Madam President.
Does any member know of any new or unfinished business which should come before this session? We are about to adjourn the 4th General Session of the 91st New York State FFA Convention. As we mingle with others, let us be diligent in labor, just in our dealings, courteous to everyone, and above all, honest and fair in the game of life. FFA members and guests, please join me in a salute to our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I now declare this session adjourned.